Hey, Li Xiu, are you in a daze again? There are 2 hours left for the exam, and you can't even memorize the basic concepts. You will definitely fail. Wang Pangdun, his best friend in the back row, patted him on the shoulder, his tone full of gloating. Several girls in the class whispered, looking over with obvious contempt, He only scored 45 points in the last quiz. He is an archaeological genius. It's ridiculous. Li Xiu gritted his teeth and clenched his fists until they turned white. The pressure was like an invisible boulder pressing down on his chest. He imagined the moment when he received his points tomorrow, the mocking eyes of the class, and the disappointed sighs of his parents. It's over, this semester's studies are ruined, graduation dreams are shattered, and the future is gloomy. Li Xiu rubbed his temples and stared at the dense pile of archaeological notes on the computer screen, his head buzzing. The classroom was filled with the smell of coffee and sweat. The students were immersed in reading, and the sound of typing on the keyboard was like a downpour. He sighed and complained in his mind, what the hell kind of exam is this? The final exam of the Department of History and Archaeology is simply a public execution of the IQ of ordinary people. I, Li Xiu, am an ordinary junior, why did I choose this cheating major? At this moment, there was a sound of brisk footsteps at the door. The classroom fell silent for a moment, and everyone looked up. A girl walked in with long hair and thin-rimmed glasses. The fresh citrus perfume smell on her body instantly diluted the stuffy smell in the room. She is Lin Yuyan, a genius archaeologist recognized by the department. She published 2 international papers in her sophomore year, and she is as beautiful as a fairy. The boy's eyes widened, and Wang Pangdun whistled in a low voice, the goddess is here. Lin Yuyan scanned the audience, her eyes paused on Li Xiu for 2 seconds, and smiled slightly. Li Xiu, classmates, I am here to share clues about the newly discovered ruins in the suburbs. If you are interested, will you come with me for an on-site visit tomorrow? Her voice was as clear as a bell, with an irresistible charm. Li Xiu was stunned, his heart beating rapidly. How did she know my name? Have you ever noticed me being a jerk during class? Visiting the ruins? It sounds exciting. Wang Pangdun pushed him excitedly, go, maybe you can pick up a treasure and reverse your dark history. Li Xiu wanted to refuse, but looking at Lin Yuyan's expectant almond eyes, he almost nodded. Inner OS, no matter what, escape from this exam hell first. Early the next morning, in the foggy countryside, on a hillside covered with weeds, a stone gate hidden under vines loomed. The air is filled with the smell of damp earth and a hint of decay, sending chills down your spine. Lin Yuyan led her team, just Li Xiu, Wang Pangdun and 2 curious passers-by, carefully pushed open the stone door. Inside is a dark cave with strange runes carved on the walls. When the torch is lit, the orange flames sway and cast long shadows. This is an ancient relic, said to be a remnant of civilization 5,000 years ago. Lin Yuyan explained excitedly, and the flashlight beam swept across the wall. Look at these runes, they look like totems related to time. They have never been seen in literature. Wang Pangdun wiped his sweat. Sister Yuyan, this place is eerie, what if there are ghosts? Li Xiu complained in his mind, damn it, how can there be real ghosts these days? But the footsteps echoed in the cave, sounding like the whispers of countless ghosts, and he clenched his fists involuntarily. Suddenly, the ground trembled. They stepped on the hidden mechanism, the stone slab collapsed, and sharp stone thorns shot out from all directions, accompanied by a harsh friction sound. A passerby screamed, ah, I'm going to die. Wang Pangduan's face turned pale, and his legs were weak and he fell down. It's over, we're going to be archaeological corpses. Lin Yuyan tried to hold Li Xiu back, but the stone thorn was close at hand, the cold light flickered, and the air was filled with the smell of dust and metal. Li Xiu's mind went blank and he thought, I'm just going to die like this. There is no way to save your studies, and your fate will be even worse. At the critical moment, Li Xiu's hand accidentally touched a groove on the wall. Buzz, a low resonance sounded, and blue light exploded. The entire cave seemed to be shrouded in thunder and lightning, all the runes lit up, and a portal-like vortex unfolded before his eyes. Time seemed to freeze, the stone thorns stopped in mid-air, everyone's eyes widened and their mouths opened in an O shape. Wang Pengduan's voice trembled. What is this? A science fiction movie? Lin Yuyan's glasses fell off and her pupils shrank violently. Impossible, a time portal. The legendary ancient ruins can connect historical time and space. Li Xiu felt a cold energy pouring into his body, like electricity flowing through his meridians, and the tearing pain made him groan. His vision was distorted, and he saw countless historical scenes flashing by, Qin soldiers and cavalry, Han palace lights, Ming dynasty beacons. The core of the portal, a crystal blue gem, automatically merged into his palm. The pain subsided and when he opened his eyes, everything around him returned to normal, the stone thorns retreated, and everyone collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. You just triggered it. Lin Yuyan rushed over and grabbed his arm, her voice trembling fiercely, her beautiful eyes full of shock and admiration. Li Xiu, you have fused the core. This is the power of time travel. There are these ancient ruins hidden in the modern Earth, which can lead to any history, but there is a secret organization, the Time Administration, that monitors all interference. They regard changing history as a taboo and will send hunters to hunt them down. Wang Pengdun got up, his eyes as wide as copper bells. Brother Xiu, you are awesome. I thought I was going to get cold, but you waved your hand and it went against the sky. A passerby murmured, Gods, we have met a living god. Li Xiu looked down at the palm of his hand, and the blue light pulsed faintly. He tentatively thought, jumped 3 days in the past and returned to the exam. The world went dark, and when it lit up again, he was standing outside the exam classroom, with the familiar smell of coffee in the air. The invigilator was still explaining the rules, and the students were nervously gearing up. Li Xiu's lips curled into a wicked smile, and he was ecstatic. I'm here. He slipped into the examination room and answered quickly using the historical knowledge implanted in the portal. The tip of the pen rustled, and the perfect answer came like flowing water. When handing in the paper, Wang Pengdun was dumbfounded. Xiu, why did you suddenly become enlightened? This speed is amazing. When the exam was over and the results were announced, the classroom was buzzing with excitement. On the big screen, Li Xiu's name came first, with a perfect score of 100. The class fell silent, then erupted into screams. Wang Pengdun jumped up, hugged him and shouted, Brother Xiu. Are you a fucking monster? From the bottom of the crane with 45 points to the king of perfect scores, this reversal is too drastic. The girls' eyes changed, and their whispers turned into admiration. Li Xiu is so handsome, it turns out he is hiding his secrets. The teacher pushed up his glasses, his voice trembling. Classmate Li Xiu, this is a genius-level performance. This is the first time I have seen him in 30 years of teaching. Lin Yuyan squeezed out of the crowd, her cheeks flushed, and grabbed his hand. Li Xiu, I witnessed everything. You not only saved us, but also reversed your own destiny. I support you. No matter what history you want to change, I will accompany you. Because, from the moment you triggered the portal, I knew you were the one who could change your destiny. Her confession was like a bomb, and everyone gasped. Wang Pengduan's eyes widened. Sister Yuyan, you are the protagonist. Li Xiu laughed, his inner OS. Academic reversal is just a small test, this ability, war. Invention. I need to rewrite everything. Those ruined traps are just childish. Those who mock me, just wait and see. He patted Wang Pengdun on the shoulder. Brother, the stone thorns in the ruins. It's just a joke. Next time I will take you to Qin Shi Huang's place to pick up the terracotta warriors and horses. Just as everyone was cheering around him, the blue light in Li Xiu's palm suddenly flashed, and a cold electronic sound sounded in his head. Warning, portal signal locked. Time Administration Agent Fu Han has been located, and the pursuit mode is activated. Violators are prepared to be judged. Li Xiu's expression changed, the surrounding air seemed to cool down, and the faint roar of engines could be heard from the distant mountains and forests. Lin Yuyan clenched his hand alertly. They are here. Run! Wang Pengduan's legs went weak. Brother Xiu, we are really going to play big this time. Li Xiu narrowed his eyes, his ambition burning. Come on, hunter, I'm waiting to defeat you. Li Xiu's heartbeat was like a war drum, and the blue light in his palms pulsed like a living thing. The roar of the engine in the distance was getting closer and closer, and the low roar that ripped through the air penetrated his eardrums. The cheers in the classroom suddenly stopped. Wang Pengduan's face turned pale, his legs were as weak as noodles, and he stammered, Xiu, brother Xiu, those engine noises, are they helicopters? We are finished, archaeology has turned into an escape, this script is too bloody. The students widened their eyes and looked around, and someone screamed, there are men in black outside. People with guns. Run! The teacher's hand shaking when pushing up his glasses. Is this a terrorist attack? Li Xiu, what trouble have you caused? Lin Yuyan held Li Xiu's hand firmly, her fingertips were cold but firm, and her beautiful eyes flashed with determination. Don't panic, Li Xiu, use the door. Take me away, let's get rid of them first. Although her voice trembled, the stubbornness of a genius archaeologist made Li Xiu's heart heat up. Outside the window, a black shadow flashed. 3 modified off-road vehicles crashed into the school gate. Their tires screeched against the asphalt road. The machine gun mounts on the roof of the vehicles were already in place. The leading man Fu Hanyue got out of the car, his gaze behind his sunglasses was like a falcon, and his sneer echoed, Li Xiu, violated the law of time, wanted on the first level. Catch him without mercy, otherwise he will be killed. The pressure was like a mountain collapse, and everyone rushed to the back door screaming. Countless historical fragments flashed in Li Xiu's mind, the desperate counterattack of the ancient Roman gladiators, Napoleon's desperate move before Waterloo. Inner OS, I just reversed my studies and now I am a hunter. You're welcome, let's try our skills first. He growled, Yuyan, hold on. With a thought, blue light erupted, and the world twisted into a whirlpool. Everyone saw the blurry figures of Li Xiu and Lin Yuyan. Wang Pengduan stretched out his hand to pull, but it was in vain. His eyes were as round as a dead fish. Brother Xiu. You evaporated. The gods descended to earth. In the hall, stock investors stared at the screen and wailed, Bitcoin has collapsed again. Who dares to buy the bottom of a week's low? A fat man in a suit wiped his sweat and cursed, my family's fortune is all in, it's over, just jump off the building. Li Xiu glanced at the knowledge embedded in the portal, the future trend was like a palm print, he went straight to the counter, threw out his student card and the remaining 5,000 block, put all the money in Bitcoin, buy at low prices. There are also gold and Tesla, buy them all. The girl at the counter was stunned and pushed up her glasses, classmate, are you crazy? This is gambling on your life. Buy at low prices, and you will probably lose everything. The investors around him snickered, boy, are you pretending to be a big-tailed wolf? I lost 500,000 yuan a week ago, and 5,000 yuan is enough for you to fill the gap between your teeth. As soon as it went dark, Li Xiu and Lin Yuyan were standing outside the stock market trading hall a week ago. The air is filled with the smell of coffee and printing paper, the LED screen scrolls with red and green numbers, crowds of people are crowded, and keyboard tapping is like a rainstorm. Lin Yuyan staggered to her feet, her long hair was messy, and her chest was heaving. You jumped for a week. Don't your palms hurt? After the portal core is fused, the greater the span, the greater the load. Li Xiu grinned, his palms were faintly hot, but the power surged like a volcano. Don't worry. Look, sisters, I will make a fortune first and get rid of those losers. Fast forward 3 days, Li Xiu Xiaotiao verified the trend. The stock market rebounded wildly, and Bitcoin soared 300% from the trough. The hall was boiling, stock investors were staring at Li Xiu's account, and the fat man in the suit had bulging eyes. This guy has 20 million in his account? From 5,000 to 20 million. The girl at the counter shook her hands and her voice trembled. First. Sir, are you a prophet? Teach me. Lin Yuyan covered her mouth and exclaimed, her beautiful eyes watering, Li Xiu, you are so amazing. This is the historical prediction given by the portal. No, it is the perspective of the future. The investors gathered around and worshipped, boss. Take me with you. Li Xiu laughed, and felt happy in his heart, the tail of the crane. Now I am the god of wealth. Lin Yuyan pulled his sleeve and whispered, Li Xiu, are you sure? Changing the economic line will also cause paradoxes. Li Xiu blinked and smiled evilly, trust me, goddess. The transaction was completed, and the screen flashed to confirm. The surrounding stock investors shook their heads and sighed, another leak, go ahead and cry. Inner OS, laugh at it, when the day you get rich, you will kneel down and lick it. But hold back, Lin Yuyan suddenly frowned, dialed the phone at home, and said in a low voice, Dad, the condition has worsened again. The doctor said there is no cure. She hung up, her eyes red, my family has an old hereditary disease, and my parents picked up the radiation sickness from childhood, modern medicine is helpless. I wanted to use the knowledge of ancient ruins to treat it, but... Li Xiu felt distressed and held her hand, leave it to me. With a thought, he jumped back to the Lin family's old house 3 days ago, portal knowledge emerged, ancient Egyptian medicine, which can neutralize radiation. He sneaked into the pharmacy, dispensed prescriptions based on his precognition, and left a message, anonymous donation. When she came back, Lin Yuyan's cell phone rang, and her father cried excitedly, Yen Yen, miracle medicine. We are fine. Who is the benefactor? She burst into tears and threw herself into Li Xiu's arms, it's you. Li Xiu, you not only saved me, but also saved the whole family. From the ruins to here, you are my hero. The servants around them widened their eyes, and the newly hired maid served tea with trembling hands, Master and Miss, this mansion, you are a couple of gods, right? Overnight, the family recovered from illness, and the wealth snowballed. Lin Yuyan blushed, and pushed Li Xiu away arrogantly but did not let go, don't be complacent. Let's get down to business now. She spread out her laptop, and the screen was full of ruins maps, they are distributed all over the world, including the Egyptian pyramids, Mayan ruins, and the underground of the Great Wall of China. The rune mode shows that activation requires specific blood or opportunities. You have unlocked the jump and knowledge implantation, and the next one is the stabilizer, Mu Xue, the hacker girl, can help. Beware of the paradox, if you change it, the space-time line will collapse, and memory conflicts will appear first. A week later, in the top luxury mansion area in the city center, the sun shines on the floor-to-ceiling windows, reflecting the dazzling golden light. Li Xiu swiped his card to enter. The fresh smell of new leather and marine air conditioning floated in the air. The spacious living room is decorated with dazzling crystal chandeliers, and the private swimming pool is sparkling. Lin Yuyan followed behind, her high heels clicking on the marble floor, her eyes widened, this is the Imperial View Mansion. It starts at 100 million. You bought it in a week and got rich, and the people in the stock market are still crying. Li Xiu shook the key, and his arrogant inner OS. From the pile of corpses in the classroom to here, the reversal is so simple. The two slumped on the leather sofa and complained about modern luxury. Li Xiu bit the strawberry, and the juice overflowed. In ancient times, emperors lived in palaces, but there was no such jacuzzi. Qin Shi Huang was so angry that he vomited blood. Lin Yuyan giggled, and the scent of citrus hit her nostrils. Yeah, beacon fire to play with the princes? Now one-click takeout. Hey, Li Xiu, what's your ambition? Isn't it just to get rich? Li Xiu narrowed his eyes and said, next step, I want to change the war against Japan. She said with admiration in her eyes, I will provide you with the knowledge, perfect CP. As the sun sets, Lin Yuyan soaks into the large bathtub of the mansion, surrounded by hot mist and filled with the aroma of rose essential oil. The water drops slide over her snow-white shoulders, and her long hair is moist against her cheeks. She blushed and shouted through the frosted glass, Li Xiu, come in and rub your back, thank you for saving the family. Li Xiu's heartbeat quickened and he pushed the door in. The steam burned his face. Her vision was blurred and she turned around, her almond-shaped eyes seductive. Idiot, don't be stunned. I, Lin Yuyan, never owe any favors. He swallowed, and his inner OS, this benefit, time travel comes with a harem. Wiping it gently, she hummed, Comfortable. What's the limit of your ability? Try it. The testing begins. Li Xiu thought to himself, jump back 5 minutes and repeat the back rub. But when she came back, Lin Yuyan frowned, wait, just now you said rose essential oil is too sweet? I never heard of it. Memory conflict. Li Xiu's palms burned, and a red warning flashed in his mind, paradox risk, small jumps are fine, big changes can easily collapse. Butterfly effect, the first sign of memory confusion. Lin Yuyan sat up alertly, water splashed, stop. There is an upper limit to your ability, and that's why the administration is targeting you. Fu Han's hunter is equipped with a time tracker, and we have to find Mu Xue to stabilize it. Li Xiu's ambition was burning, and he stood up and looked out the window at the night view, where the city lights were like a river of stars. This is the small test. Stock market, family disease. Appetizer. I want to jump to the end of the Qin dynasty and help Liu Bang destroy Xiongnu, or the Ming dynasty, advance the Industrial Revolution. Rewrite history for me. Lin Yuyan came up wearing a robe and hugged his waist, I will accompany you, no matter how crazy you are. Suddenly, the mansion alarm blared. The floor-to-ceiling windows exploded, glass fragments rained down, and Fu Han led 5 agents in black to break in. The smell of gunpowder filled the air. Fu Han's sunglasses reflected the light and sneered, Li Xiu, stock market anomalies and medical miracles are all traces of paradox. Violation of the first-time rule, personal intervention does not exceed 0.01%. Refuse, otherwise time and space will be wiped out. The agent's gun was black, and the laser was aimed at Li Xiu's heart. Lin Yuyan screamed and pulled him back, why are they chasing after them? Tracker. The servants collapsed on the ground, and the maid trembled, monster, gun battle movie. Chase breaks out. Li Xiu dragged Lin Yuyan and rushed to the swimming pool. Bullets whizzed past his ears, shattering the vase and sending porcelain fragments flying. Fu Han jumped up and stretched out his mechanical arm to catch him, traitor of the sect, die. Li Xiu roared in his heart, the ultimate moment. The blue light flourished, and he made his first big jump, taking people across time and space, the target, unknown ruins. The vortex of the world swallowed everything up. Fu Han stretched out his hand but failed, roaring, lock failed. But next time, there is nowhere to escape. The mansion was silent, only gun smoke and the frightened gasps of the servants remained, they disappeared. A miracle. In the whirlpool, Li Xiu hugged Lin Yuyan tightly, her heart beating like a drum in his ears, and his ambition was blazing, Hunter, this is the beginning. More portals are waiting for me to conquer. The vortex spit out the two of them, and Li Xiu and Lin Yuyan fell heavily into the wet grotto, their knees hitting the moss-covered rocks with a muffled sound. The air was filled with the smell of mold, rot and earth, and the sound of dripping water above my head was like broken beads, hitting the puddles and splashing cold water. Using the blue light in his palm, Li Xiu glanced around. The walls of the narrow passage were engraved with ancient runes, glowing faintly, pulsating like living blood vessels. This is a small underground ruin of the Great Wall. The portal knowledge flooded into my mind, the seal point of the Qin dynasty, which can expand the jumping range to January, but activation requires blood sacrifice or puzzles. Lin Yuyan rubbed her arms and climbed up, her long hair stuck to her sweaty neck, and her beautiful eyes scanned alertly, the ruins of the Great Wall. The runes are Qinli script mixed with Mayan elements, and the global portal is interconnected. Li Xiu, this place is unstable, and the paradox is very volatile. Don't use your palms randomly. She touched the wall with her fingers, feeling like an electric shock. Her voice was trembling but excited, but if you untie it, you can upgrade your core. Quick, help me compare. Li Xiu nodded, his inner OS, the hunting dog Fu Han will definitely come after him, let's upgrade first. He moved closer, and blue light illuminated the central altar. There were 3 grooves on the stone platform, and the runes rotated like a maze. Lin Yuyan bit her lip, sweat dripping from her forehead. The first, the element of fire, the pattern of the Qin fire bull formation. The second, the water veins of the Great Wall. The third, the time portal talisman. She took out a knife from her pocket and cut her fingertips. Blood drops dripped into the grooves, the stone platform roared and shook, and dust hit her face like mist. Suddenly, a red light flashed at the end of the passage, and Fu Han's sneer echoed like a ghost. You think you will get rid of me after a big jump? The tracker is locked on your paradox wave. Time administration, wipe out the traitors. 5 black shadows sprang out, the agent's mechanical arms buzzed, and the red dots of laser guns swept over the 2 people. Bullets roared, shattering the rock wall, and gravel rained down, making Li Xiu's scalp numb. An agent smiled grimly, boy, let's collect the bill for the mansion. Lin Yuyan screamed and pulled Li Xiu to the ground to avoid it. His knees were scraped, and the smell of blood was mixed with mold. Overwhelming despair. Li Xiu's palms were as hot as a soldering iron, and a red warning flashed in his head, insufficient energy, CD jump. Fu Han jumped onto the altar, his eyes like knives behind his sunglasses. The portal is a stabilizer, keeping history unchanged. Your sudden wealth in the stock market and your miracle of saving people have distorted 0.05% of the clues, and the countdown to collapse. The agents outflanked, and the black hole of the gun was pointed at Lin Yuyan's head. Her face turned pale, and her voice trembled, Li Xiu, run. I roared in my heart, how can I let the goddess die? Reversal. With a thought in Li Xiu's mind, he jumped 5 minutes ago, the world blurred and he returned to the moment of bloodshed. Lin Yuyan was still solving the puzzle, and he whispered, don't shed blood, set a trap first. He grabbed the loose stones on the ground, piled them into a stumbling block based on his prediction, and ignited the moss with blue light, and the flames raised acrid smoke. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened. You jumped back. Predicted the ambush? The show begins. When time returned to normal, Fu Han and the others rushed in, but they tripped over rocks and their helmets made a loud clang against the rock wall. An agent slipped and the laser gun went off and hit his companion. The screams echoed, ah, the arm melted. Smoke filled the air and coughs were heard everywhere. Li Xiu pounced, his fist wrapped in blue light and smashed an agent's mechanical arm. There was a crisp sound of bone cracking and metal fragments flying like rain. The agent's eyes bulged and his voice trembled. How did you predict it? Impossible. Lin Yuyan took advantage of the random drops of blood to activate the altar, and blue light surged out amid the roar, pouring into Li Xiu's palm. He felt so powerful that his inner OS. The jump is extended to January, and the paradox buffer is plus 20%. He choked another agent with his backhand and put his knees on his abdomen. The guy vomited blood and fell to the ground with a groan. Tell me. What is the conspiracy of the administration? The agent's face was twisted and his teeth were clenched. We maintain stability. History cannot be changed. The unification of Qin and the outcome of World War II are all preset lines. The leader said that changers will give birth to time hunter monsters. You are finished. Fu Han roared and jumped up, his mechanical arm stretched out like a whip and whistling in the air. Li Xiu jumped for 3 seconds, dodged and hit his sunglasses with an elbow, and the fragments pierced his cheeks, and blood rolled down. Damn it. Did you upgrade your jump? The surrounding agents glared, and backed away with weak legs. Boss, he is a monster. Precognition plus teleportation. Li Xiu laughed, the blue light bloomed, and pushed Lin Yuyan back. Conspiracy. I will change everything. History, kneel down and lick it. The pursuit escalated. Fu Han activated the tracker, the red net was spread to block the passage, huge cracks opened in the rock wall, and dust filled the air and choked his lungs. Agents swarmed and gunfire rained down. Li Xiu dragged Lin Yuyan and ran wildly, his mind racing. He set up an ambush an hour ago. The world was twisted, and they appeared outside the ruins. The yellow sand filled the sky under the ruins of the Great Wall, and the wind howled like a wolf. He built sand barriers, buried laser gun remains as mines, and carved runes to detonate air currents. Back on track, Fu Han's main force rushed out and hit a landmine with a bang. Sand exploded into the sky, agents screamed and rolled, severed limbs flew, and the smell of blood was pungent. A soldier got up, his eyes as wide as copper bells. The trap. He jumped back to set it. God! Fu Han's mechanical arm broke, and he knelt down and gasped, Li Xiu. You have violated the law 100%, and the collapse of time and space is close. Li Xiu stepped on his chest, suppressing it with blue light. Get out. Tell the leader, I am coming. Reversal breaks out. A blue light flashed in the palm of Li Xiu's palm, predicting Zhang Meng's punch path. He jumped slightly to dodge, and reversed his legs to sweep the hull. Zhang Meng threw the dog into the street and ate its shit, causing his teeth to shatter. Everyone stared. What? Li Xiu fights back. He jumped 3 times in a row and reenacted the slap in the face. He punched the bridge of his nose and blood mist exploded. He pressed his knee to the crotch. Zhang Meng covered his lower body and howled like a pig. The eyes of the students around him were bulging. Wang Pangdun jumped up and screamed, Brother Xiu is awesome. The tail of the crane turned into a god of war. The girls screamed in admiration, Li Xiu is so handsome. The bullying is over, God. Zhang Meng got up, his voice trembling, you cheated. Spare your life, brother. But the first suppression is more severe. Li Xiu's past life flashes in his mind, college bullying. His old enemy Zhang Meng, that muscular man once blocked his dormitory with fists and kicks like rain. Everyone laughed at him, young man, kneel down. Inner OS, opportunity. Reversal with new abilities. He jumped back to the freshman week of college. Zhang Meng led the crowd to surround him on the playground, with fists roaring and nosebleeds spraying. Passers-by shook their heads, Li Xiu is so miserable, he's a loser. Wang Pengduan's legs went weak, Brother Xiu, be patient. My heart is filled with joy, from corpse to king. Li Xiu sneered, when you see me in the future, call me Yi. Jumping back to the ruins, the memory of bullying was erased, and his palms only hurt slightly. Lin Yuyan rushed towards him and hugged his waist tightly, you, even changed the past. That's crazy. But I love it so much. The ruins are quiet and the afterglow of blue light is shining. Li Xiu hugged Lin Yuyan and celebrated intimately, their lips touched, as warm as fire. She hummed softly, her tongue wrapped around her, and the scent of roses mixed with sweat hit her nostrils. Sofa. No, she sat on the rock, straddling his legs, her long hair spread out to cover the ups and downs. Hero, reward. Her fingers slid across his chest, undressing made a rustling sound, and their skins were as hot as lava. Li Xiu's inner OS, perfect score for time travel benefits. She gasped, well, your power makes me addicted. Next time, let's change history together. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm still lingered, and he stood up from the rock with Lin Yuyan in his arms. The tangy heat wave of her rose-scented sweat was still in the air, mixed with the pungent aftertaste of gunpowder and blood. Deep in the passage, new runes slowly light up like veins, a faint blue halo reflects on the ancient stone walls, and a low humming sound is faintly heard, like the beating of a heart foretelling a bigger storm. He glanced at the phone, and Mu Xue's sweet voice echoed in his mind, XX Black Internet Cafe, come quickly. Lin Yuyan tidied her messy long hair, her almond-shaped eyes flashed with vigilance and attachment. The Black Internet Cafe is in the old city at the foot of the Great Wall. Fu Han's main force may be ambushing. But the stabilizer is worth a fight. You are so ambitious, can't you keep burning your palms? Inner OS, the goddess is right, I want to form a team and take off. Li Xiu grinned, grabbed her hand and ran towards the exit of the ruins. His footsteps crushed the moss and splashed muddy water, and the water dripping from his head was like a drum beat. After rushing out of the ruins of the Great Wall, the yellow sand hit my face like a knife, the sirens were faint in the distance, and the red net tracking Fu Han's remaining soldiers was still flashing in my mind. His mind skipped a beat. 5 minutes ago, the world was vaguely reset. He predicted that there would be 3 black SUVs blocking the intersection. The driver's sunglasses shone coldly, and the laser gun in his hand was buzzing and ready to go. Ambush! He growled, and Lin Yuyan dodged behind the sand dune. Sand grains filled her collar and itched like insects. In the aftermath of the climax, the phone vibrated, a backup phone left behind in the mansion. The strange female voice was sweet, Li Xiu. I'm Mu Xue, a hacker girl. I've monitored your paradox wave, and I have a stabilizer that can prevent memory conflicts and tracking. Come to XX Black Internet Cafe and join forces. Fu Han's main force has moved, come quickly. Lin Yuyan sat up, her eyes flashing with caution, Mu Xue. The key to the portal, she is reliable. Li Xiu squinted, ambition burning, new ally. History, rewrite and accelerate. Deep in the passage, new runes light up, indicating a larger portal. Fu Han's roar could be heard faintly in the distance, and the smell of gunpowder lingered in the wind. Li Xiu clenched his fist, Hunter, come on. Take off invincibly. The drama begins again. The agent rushed into the sand formation, stepped on the thunder and made a loud noise. The sand exploded into the sky like a volcano. Broken arms flew and hit the ground, splattering blood. The screams tore through the yellow sand, blind. Monster, he knew the layout. The strong man knelt down with weak legs, his sunglasses shattered to reveal bloodshot eyes, his voice trembled, impossible. How did the team lose? Boss Fu, help. Li Xiu jumped out, wrapped his fist in blue light and smashed the barrel of his gun. The metal twisted and cracked, and hot smoke hit his nose. He sneered and stepped on his chest, get out. Tell Fu Han, I have a new toy. The agents collapsed like rats, the SUV engine roared and fled, and the smell of exhaust fumes filled the air. Heading straight to the dark internet cafe, the dilapidated neon signboard creaked and swayed in the night wind, and the doorway was filled with smoke mixed with barbecue fumes. Pushing open the door and entering, the typing on the keyboard is like a torrential rain, the blue light of the screen illuminates a room of hackers, and the air is sultry and mixed with the sour and spicy smell of instant noodles. In the corner cubicle, the girl turned around, Mu Xue, with charming eyes behind black-framed glasses, short hair dyed purple, and a tight-fitting vest that highlighted her proud curves. She was playing with a silver bracelet in her hand, buzzing slightly. You're 5 minutes late, you reckless devil. She pouted and complained, her voice sweet and thorny. She stood up and handed over the bracelet. The cold fingertips touched Li Xiu's palm, an electric current rushed through it. Stabilizer prototype, anti-memory conflict plus tracking shielding. Your paradox wave is like a nuclear explosion. I monitored and vomited blood in the middle of the night before locking it. Lin Yuyan squinted her eyes alertly, sniffing the faint scent of mint on Mu Xue, hacker girl. Do you dare to touch the data of the administration? Mu Xue smiled, her glasses flashed, and she hit the keyboard like a piano.
A video of Fu Han's team's defeat popped up on the screen, and the agent's screams echoed in the cubicle, "Look, your sandstorm show." Fu Han, the main force of 300 people, has dispatched the prototype of the Hunter, the space-time distortion beast, which can swallow the jumping trajectory. Reckless man, you would be cold without me. She danced with her fingers and put on the bracelet to demonstrate. The silver ring projected the holographic map, the global ruins were illuminated, the Egyptian pyramids, the Mayan jungle, the Roman Colosseum, and the entire internet portal. Hacking into the administration database, we found hundreds of portals, and the Qin Great Wall was just a small station. Unlock the entire network, and you can jump thousands of years. Li Xiu's inner OS, awesome. The team is invincible. He put on the bracelet, and the burning pain in his palms was instantly relieved, and the blue light flowed in steadily like a cool spring. Test. Mu Xue raised her eyebrows and pushed him into the pool party area, a hidden swimming pool in the backyard of the internet cafe. The neon lights reflected the waves and the steam was steaming with the smell of chlorine. Lin Yuyan changed into a bikini, her snow-white skin splashed with water, and she glared at Mu Xue arrogantly. Pool benefits? Stop seducing my man. Mu Xue took off her clothes and entered the water, her purple hair was wet on her neck, and the water droplets fell into the deep ditch. She smiled charmingly, a romantic god, with two goddesses waiting for him, is it great? But test the little paradox first, I don't believe you are stable. Back on track, the SUV braked and screamed, the door slammed open, 5 agents jumped out, their boots crunched on the sofa, and the strong man in charge grinned ferociously, paradox wave locked. Boy, the administration team has arrived, and boss Fu Han is leading the hunters. The laser red dot swept the sand dunes, and the heat wave burned the air. Li Xiu laughed wildly in his heart, well done. With a flash of blue light, he jumped outside the ruins an hour ago, piled sand to lay mines, and carved runes to detonate air traps. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes widened and her voice trembled, dancing again. Your consecutive jumps are amazing. But the palms of your hands are red and swollen, and the paradox is coming. Suppress your desire first, suppress your despair. Li Xiu's heart skipped a beat as he thought about the university entrance day, and the world was twisted. He returned to the freshman registration hall, where the crowds were crowded and the smell of sweat filled his nostrils, and the club stalls were shouting like a market. In the past, his club interview failed miserably. Chen Kai, the president of the debate club, ridiculed Li Xiu, the tail end of the crane. Get out of here, you loser. Everyone laughed, and Wan Pengduan's legs went weak and pulled him. Brother Xiu, bear with me, don't be embarrassed. The humiliation in my heart was like a knife. When I signed up, my dreams of joining the club were shattered, and I did nothing for 4 years. At the peak of despair, the cycle was suffocating. Li Xiu gritted his teeth and turned the button, the bracelet's silver light flashed like thunder, the timeline broke with a crisp sound, and it collapsed repeatedly. He answered Chen Kai calmly, with logic like a razor's edge, advantage. Practical experience, I predict every step of the debate. Chen Kai's eyes bulged, the microphone dropped to the ground with a thud, and his voice trembled, you, Oracle. Admission. The ace of the debate club. The freshmen around him widened their eyes, and Wang Pengdun jumped up and screamed, Brother Xiu defies the sky. A waste turns into a genius. The dream of the club takes off, and the gods operate. The girls screamed in admiration, Li Xiu is so handsome, the president of the Peach Blossom Club. The bracelet buzzed and a stable wave was injected, predicting the path of Chen Kai's problem. Li Xiu spoke confidently, but a paradox suddenly occurred, repeat the cycle. The clock in the lobby is stuck, and Chen Kai's question loops endlessly, what is your advantage? The voice echoes like a curse, a splitting headache, double vision, and ghostly figures superimposed on passers-by. Loop trap. The little paradox backfires. Wang Pengdun glared and backed away, his voice trembling, Brother Xiu, your face is pale and you repeat yourself. A ghost?
Lin Yuyan's shadow flashed into the projection and shouted urgently, bracelet knob, reverse the frequency. Mu Xue directed from the air, and the screen data jumped wildly, reckless ghost, turn 3 spaces to the left to break the loop. Jumping back into the swimming pool and splashing into the huge waves, Mu Xue clapped her hands and smiled charmingly, passed. The little paradox can be broken easily. The bracelet upgrades your core, paradox tolerance plus 50%, tracking invisible. Lin Yuyan rushed towards him, water splashed everywhere, hugging his waist tightly, their wet and slippery skin touching each other, biting his earlobe. Hero, changed his destiny again, pool reward. Mu Xue swam closer, and complained arrogantly, the luck of love is overwhelming, 2 wet goddesses are attacking you. Be careful, I will hack your underwear. The 3 of them were playing, the water rippled with laughter, the fragrance of chlorine hit their nostrils, and the night breeze brought a harbinger of thunder in the distance. Mu Xue wiped her body dry, got back into the cubicle and was horrified, all the data of the administration are open. More portals, Egypt can jump to the ancient dynasty, and there is a stable gate in Normandy during World War II. But a large node warning, the Qin unification campaign, will be triggered within 3 days. Rewrite it, the butterfly effect collapses the global line, and hunters appear. The red alert flashed on the screen, and Fu Han's image popped up, Li Xiu, the net has been cast, and the brigade is surrounding the black internet cafe. Surrender, or die. The excitement broke out. On the sofa by the pool, the 3 of them gasped and celebrated. Mu Xue slid her fingers across Li Xiu's chest, stabilizer benefits, adjust it yourself. Lin Yuyan hummed and joined in. Their lips touched passionately, the fragrance of mint and rose intertwined, and the skin undulated like waves. But suddenly, the shadow in the compartment twisted, and a figure in black robe appeared, Qin Feng. A middle-aged man with flowing silver hair, eyes as deep as a vortex of time and space, and a voice as low as an ancient bell, Li Xiu, stop. I am the guardian of time, not the administration. The Qin war is about to start at a large-scale node, and triggering will summon the ultimate hunter, the devourer of time and space. Your jump has distorted 5% of the line. Follow me, or it will be destroyed. The engine roared outside the door, the laser swept the frame and sparks flew, and the agents shouted to kill like a wave. Li Xiu's inner OS, here it comes. The bracelet buzzes, the new ally is invincible. With his blue light shining brightly, he pulled the 2 girls and jumped back. Xiao Jiao set up an ambush to change the war between Qin and Qin together. Lin Mu stared in admiration, crazy, follow. Mu Xue's keyboard froze and her hands trembled, intruder. Guardian. No data recorded. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes widened and her voice trembled, the rune resonance. The real thing. Li Xiu's palms burned, the alarm on his bracelet blared wildly, gunfire approached outside the door, and Qin Feng's figure was blurred, choose, boy. History is not a toy. The air was stagnant, thunder exploded, the smell of gunpowder was strong in the wind, and the new portal buzzed to announce adventure, upgrade and rush. The blue light flashed wildly in Li Xiu's palm, the silver light on his bracelet buzzed and resonated, and the burning heat like lava slowly subsided. The OS in his heart, Guardian. I am ambitious to rewrite the world, who cares about your rules? Sparks flew from the door frame, and the heat wave hit her face mixed with the pungent stench of molten metal. Lin Yuyan held his arm tightly, her white knuckles turned white, and her beautiful eyes stared at Qin Feng. The rune resonance is real, but why do you care about us? Li Xiu is a hero. Mu Xue's eyes narrowed behind her glasses, and her hands trembled as she hung on the keyboard, her voice sweet thorn trembled, data blind area. Intruder, you hacked my host. Get out of the compartment. Qin Feng raised the corners of his lips slightly, ignoring the gunfire, and his figure twisted like water waves, choose. Die under Fu Han's laser, or follow me to explore the medium-sized ruins, the portal of the Roman arena. There is the key to stability there, which can suppress 5% distortion. The air was like solidified glue, and the typing on the keyboard in the cubicle suddenly stopped, leaving only the sizzling smell of laser fire outside the door and the roar of the agent seeping in like the roar of wild beasts. Administration team. Li Xiu, kneel down and surrender. Qin Feng's black robe shimmered slightly in the shadows. With agitation, the silver hair floats like threads of moonlight, the eyes swallow the light like abyss, and the low voice knocks on the heart. Boy, the Qin Zhan node counts down in 3 days. As soon as the devourer comes out, all your jumping trajectories will be reduced to ashes. Follow me, and I will teach you to observe the laws of time and space. The predicted path is like an electric current running through the brain. The adjutant bursts out from the east gate, and the laser sweeps the swimming pool area. He piled sandbags to block the door, carved runes into the internet cafe's circuitry to detonate lightning nets on light tubes, and hid stable bombs in the ceiling of the cubicle. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened and her voice trembled. Dance again. The palms of her hands are not burning, a miracle. But Qin Feng, that guy, couldn't predict it. Mu Xue's fingers flew to hack the door lock and her purple hair shook to spread the mint scent. Reckless devil, I will adjust the frequency of the bomb, the power grid plus your blue light, electric grill agent. Qin Feng's figure flashed vaguely in anticipation, and his silver hair was like a ghost. Boy, you refused, regret it. Get back on track. The door smashed, and the adjutant jumped in. Catch him alive. Before he could finish his words, the light tube burst and blue lightning danced like a thunder snake. The smell of sizzling electric charred meat hit his nose, the agent screamed and twitched and fell to the ground, and the laser gun made a squeaking sound as it melted and dripped hot metal. The adjutant's eyes bulged, his sunglasses were broken and bloodshot appeared, and his voice trembled like chaff. Preset trap. Monster. Boss Fu, he jumped to predict us. The stability bomb roared, and the partition wall cracked and dust filled the air. Qin Feng's black robe encouraged him to block the aftermath, and glanced at Li Xiu, ambitious ghost, a medium-sized ruined Roman gate, 50 miles southeast of the ruins. The key to stability is there. Don't die too early. The figure disappeared into smoke. Overwhelming despair. The agent broke in through the door, his boots crunching on the broken glass, and he held up the laser gun for the first lieutenant with a grim smile. The red dot locked on the center of Li Xiu's eyebrows. Boss Fu's order, capture the zombie alive. Lin Mu and the 2 girls screamed and hugged Li Xiu tightly. The scent of rose and mint was mixed with hot sweat, and the swimming pool wetsuit was tight and slippery. Li Xiu sneered and roared inwardly, well done, I'll set up an ambush by jumping around. His blue light flashed, the knob of his bracelet turned wildly, and he jumped to the internet cafe 5 minutes ago. The world blurred and reset, the neon sign was still creaking, and the water in the swimming pool had just calmed down. New daily life, take off. Li Xiu took off his clothes and entered the soup. The water splashed with heat waves and burned his skin. The blue light soaked his palms and felt like relief. The 2 girls followed. Lin Yuyan's bikini slipped off her shoulders, the snow-white peaks undulated, and water drops rolled down the ravine. The arrogant girl bit her lips and said, the hero escaped. But that Qin Feng, the rune resonance is scary. And you, the swimming pool benefits are not enough. Threesome in the hot spring, peach ghost. Mu Xue's hair was wet and stuck to her neck, her tight swimsuit stretched out her devilish curves, and she swam closer. She slid her fingers across Li Xiu's chest, and smiled charmingly. Sequel to stabilizer debugging? Reckless man, my keyboard was still hot when I was roasting the agent just now. Sister Lin, what are you fighting for? Let's join hands to serve him and transform the world into a dreamer. She pressed her mint lips to her ears and licked the hot breath. Ambition sharing? Tell me, after Qin Zhan is rewritten, do you want to be a god? Li Xiu's inner OS, so cool. The goddesses attack from both sides, and the hot springs are full of benefits. He hugged the 2 women's waists, their skins were smooth and touching, the water waves slapped against the rocks, and the scent of roses and mint blended like a love potion. My dream? A little test of my skills, jump into the age of inventors, steal Edison's small patent and become rich. A college loser becomes the richest man, and the stock market doubles 20 million. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes sparkled with admiration, and her voice trembled and she hummed, "Inventor, 19th century America. Paradox big, patent competitors are laughing at you for piracy." Mu Xue's glasses were foggy, and the bracelet projected a holographic patent image, buzzing slightly. "The data is locked, the incandescent lamp patent of the predecessor of Edison. The competing lawyers are surrounding me with a smile, but I upgraded the device and the cracks were repaired." Li Xiu dragged the two goddesses out of the back door, and the SUV's engine roared and chased them. The exhaust fumes smelled like wild dog's hot breath. An hour before his big jump, the world was distorted and stable, and the stable wave of the bracelet was like a cool spring washing away the cracks of paradox. The three of them went straight to the hot spring resort at the foot of the Great Wall, the secret hot spring attached to the Imperial View Mansion. The mist and heat wave hit their faces, and the fragrance of sulfur and egg yolk filled the night sky. Pushing open the bamboo door, the water in the private hot spring pool is rippling, the neon lights beside the rocks reflect the red clouds, and the hot and humid air carries the petals falling. The bracelet hums and injects steadily, predicting Ball's path. But a paradox breaks out. Time cracks were like broken glass, double visions were superimposed, and the lawyer's ghostly figure repeated, "Monkey, get out." He had a splitting headache, and his palms were red and swollen, bursting with blood drops dripping on the table. Passers-by in the office stared and backed away, their voices trembling. The boy's face is pale, talking in a loop. Time ghost. The old official's legs went weak and he fell on the chair. The ink bottle smashed to the ground. "Monster, the patent office is haunted," he signed repeatedly. Lin Yuyan's phantom projection flashed, shouting urgently, "The crack is widening. Mu Xue, the frequency is reversed." Mu Xue directed from the air, and the screen data jumped to the red alert, "Reckless ghost, 2 spaces to the right of the knob plus blue light pulse, suture line. Suppress your desire first, suppress your despair." Li Xiu's heart skipped a beat. In 1890, the New York Patent Office, the world was distorted again, the yellow gleam of the kerosene lamp reflected the wooden table, the crowds were crowded, the smell of sweaty ink was fragrant, and the old clerk at the counter narrowed his eyes. Li Xiu. A Chinese boy, stealing Edison's incandescent light diagram. Get out. The competition lawyer is behind you. Paul, the patent dream is broken. In the past, he was mocked. The lawyer leader bowed through the documents with a grin. "Eastern monkey, there is zero evidence. Waste on the streets." The assistants laughed, and the ink splashed on their faces, hurting their hearts like knives. "I am ambitious to be the richest man, is this?" Jumping back to the hot spring, huge waves splashed against the rocks, petals were flying, and the steaming water had a bloody aftertaste. Li Xiu breathed out, "The richest man has got it. The patent line is stable, and the wealth is doubled 10 times. Mu Xue clapped her hands and smiled charmingly, her glasses flashed, "Passed. The device has perfectly stitched the cracks, and the paradox tolerance has exceeded 60%. The reckless rich man, hot spring reward, I personally adjust the pulse." She pressed her fingers on her palms, an electric current rushed through her body as a heat wave, and Lin Yuyan rushed to the water. Flowers splashed everywhere, their wet lips touched and they bit their ears passionately. "Heroes get rich. My archaeological knowledge, coupled with your ambition, Qin Zhan is invincible. But Mu Xue, please don't touch his waist." The two women competed for favors and complained. The arrogant push made the water ripple, the friction of the skin was like waves, the scent of rose mint was intoxicating. Li Xiu laughed wildly in his heart, "The peach blossom is invincible, the benefits are overwhelming." The three of them breathed and celebrated, and Qin Feng's voice emerged from the mist, as low as an ancient clock echoing, "Yes, a small intervention has stabilized it. But the medium-sized ruins of the Roman arena, 50 miles southeast of the ruins, where the door is connected to the Egyptian pyramids. The key to stability can suppress distortion by 10%. I will give you a clue, the Arena Lion's Den rune, turn it 3 times to unlock it. Ambitious boy, before changing the world, learn to keep balance. The black shadow flashed across the ripples on the water and disappeared without a trace. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes widened and her voice trembled. Is he following? The true guardian. Roman ruins, I know all the historical knowledge. Mu Xue projected the map on the keyboard, and shook her purple hair. Complete the data, the Arena Lion's roar portends the door. The team is invincible, the reckless man, the ambition to share. Despair suffocated, cracks swallowed up memories. Li Xiu gritted his teeth and turned the button. The bracelet's silver thunder exploded, and the timeline cracked and cracked to repair. He re-signed calmly, with logic as sharp as a knife. Evidence. This is an improved thread, predicting every step of your doubts. Ball's eyes bulged, his suit straightened and his body trembling. The documents rustled on the floor, and his voice trembled. You, prophet? The patent is approved. The richest man seed, Oracle Chinese boy. The assistants around him jumped up and screamed. The monkey turned into the Lamp King. The richest man in New York took off. The passers-by screamed, handsome patent god, marry you. But before the excitement was over, the bamboo door of the hot spring shattered. Fu Han came in person, his black suit stained with blood, his cold eyes like knives behind his sunglasses. The hundreds of reinforcements from behind were buzzing with laser nets, and the engine roared with the stench of gunpowder. Li Xiu. The brigade from 300 to 500, the Hunter prototype is upgraded. Lock the next node, the gateway to the Normandy Battle of World War II. Your hot spring party is over. The aberrant beast roared like thunder, the air distorted the heat wave, and the red net swept through the bamboo forest and set it on fire. Lin Mu stared and trembled. Come back, Normandy. Big crisis. Li Xiu's palm glowed with blue light, and his inner OS said, the hook is coming. The stabilizer buzzes and the new ruins of Rome take off. He pulled the 2 girls to jump up. Xiaotiao sets up an ambush. Qin Foam leads the way. Gunfire approaches, thunder explodes, adventure rushes. The mist of the hot spring billowed like a ghost, fragments of the bamboo door flew everywhere. Fu Han's laser internet red light pierced the night sky, humming and low, mixed with the pungent stench of gunpowder and scorched earth. The abnormal hunter's roar ripped through the air like thunder, and the twisted heat wave burned the surrounding rocks red. The blue light flashed in Li Xiu's palm, the knob of his bracelet turned wildly, and his inner OS, 500 Brigade. I predict with a series of jumps, the hot spring party turns into a massacre show. He tightened the waists of Lin Yuyan and Mu Xue, and the water droplets splashed and made a snapping sound. The 2 goddesses were wet and clinging to each other, and the fragrance of rose and mint mixed with hot sweat hit their noses. Reckless ghost, Normandy is locked. Fu Han upgraded to Hunter, don't fight hard. Mu Xue screamed, his glasses were foggy and his fingers flew around the projection screen. Jump 3 minutes ago. The world is like a colloid distorted and reset. The hot spring water has just calmed down, and the scent of sulfur and egg is still lingering on the tip of the nose. Li Xiu predicted the path and electric current rushed through his brain. Fu Han burst from the bamboo forest to the east, the Hunter prototype's deformed claws tore off the rocks, and the laser fired at the edge of the pool. He piled stones to block the door of the hot spring, carved runes into the neon light lines to detonate the plasma net, and hit a stable bomb pulse wave at the bottom of the pool. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened, her white shoulders slipped off her bikini string, and her voice trembled. The hero predicts the magic, but the hunter is distorted, and the thermal imaging locks the heat source of our wet body. Mu Xue's hair was wet and stuck to her neck, her swimsuit stretched out her curves, and her hands trembled as she entered the resort security. I overloaded the bomb frequency, plasma plus blue light, roasted into a charred corpse. Sister Lin, what are you fighting for? Let's join hands to protect the reckless man. Get back on track. The bamboo door shattered, and Fu Han jumped in with cold eyes like daggers behind his sunglasses. Li Xiu, the Normandy nodes are pre-locked, you can't escape. Before he could finish his words, the neon lights exploded and blue plasma danced like a thunder dragon, and the smell of sizzling electric charred meat hit his nostrils. The agent screamed and twitched and fell to the ground, and the black suit melted and dripped with molten iron and squeaked on the edge of the scalding pool. Adjutant Fu Han's eyes bulged, his grin twisted into fear, and his voice trembled like chaff. Preset a trap again. Monsters jump continuously. Boss, he predicted 500 paths. The stable bomb roared, the water column soared into the sky, steaming with sulfur and blood. The abnormal hunter clawed at the stone and roared. Fu Han's black robe jumped up to block the aftermath, and sneered, little trick, the hunter locks, the hot spring turns into a tomb. Li Xiu hugged the two girls tightly, and the blue light reflected the red-hot spring cloud. Dream? Rewrite the Qin War, and accelerate reunification for 1,000 years. Invent nuclear fusion in Normandy during World War II, and bring peace to the richest empire. The world is open, I will be the king of time. The two goddesses screamed in admiration, and Lin Mu shouted in unison, change the world with the heroes. The water waves slapped, laughter mixed with the hot breath, the fragrance of sulfur filled the air, and the night wind sent wolves howling in the distance. The ruins are vast, and the broken walls of the Roman arena stand like the skeletons of giant beasts under the moon. The wind and sand wear away the stones, making a low roar, and the air is filled with ancient blood and the aftertaste of lion roars. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes sparkled, pointing to the black hole of the lion's cave, Qin Feng's clue. Turn the lion's cave rune 3 times, and the stability key pressure is distorted by 10%. Mu Xue's projection map buzzed, her purple hair swaying in the wind with mint scent. Data confirmed, the portal is connected to the Egyptian pyramid plus or node, Normandy Omen. Fu Han ascended to pursue the heat source. Li Xiu's palms were filled with blue light into the stone wall, and the rune's golden glow flourished. His inner OS, I am ambitious to speed up the Qin War, grab this stability key first. After 3 circles, the stone cave roared and cracked, the portal vortex swallowed the light like a black hole, and the heat wave mixed with the smell of ancient Roman sweat and blood hit my face. Break in. The world is distorted again, the battlefield of the Roman Colosseum is stained with blood, the crowds cheer like thunder, the gladiator chains jingle, the roar of lions is deafening, and the air is hot and smells pungent of rust and blood. Behind the portal is an ancient battlefield. In 202 BC, on the eve of the Battle of Zama, the torches of the Carthage military camp were swaying, the war drums were beating like heartbeats, and the smell of soldiers' sweat and leather was mixed. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened and her voice trembled, Battle of Zama. Hannibal's army presses the border, the Scipio coalition forces are defeated at the border, the butterfly effect is the root of modern conflicts in the Middle East. Li Xiu, reverse the small-scale outpost battle, avoid a disastrous defeat, and seed peace. Mu Xue's glasses flashed a data red alert, paradox risk is high. Stabilizer blessing, jump in and change the general's decision-making. Fu Han's hunter roared as he approached the edge of the portal, and the laser beam pierced the vortex, relics of war. Boy, you dug your own grave. Li Xiu sneered and roared in his heart, come after me, I'm the ancient slayer of gods. An hour before the battle of the great Taizama outpost, ghost images were superimposed, the Carthaginian elephant soldiers were covered in dust, the war elephants roared and shook the ground, the Roman coalition shield formation collapsed, and the soldiers screamed and arrows pierced their bodies, spraying blood and mist. In General Scipio's tent, the yellow candles reflected the map. He frowned, and the lieutenant general smiled sarcastically, Marshal, Hannibal's elephant formation has no solution. The coalition forces are defeated, and the Middle East border will always be in chaos. Use up your strategy and retreat. The generals in the tent laughed, and the smell of alcohol hit their nostrils. Li Xiu predicted that the path would be like lightning, the elephant soldiers would suddenly pass eastward, and the kerosene arrows could break them. Desire is suppressed first, despair overwhelms you. Li Xiu appeared in the tent, blue light flashed in his palms, the Carthage scouts were approaching, and the elephant roared in his ears. Scipio narrowed his eyes and drew his sword, for an assassin. Paid by Hannibal. Kill. The deputy general's eyes bulged and his voice trembled as he raised his spear. Wax-faced boy, there is no room for ghosts in Rome. Li Xiu gritted his teeth and turned the bracelet. Xiao Liantiao predicted the path of ridicule, but the paradox crack suddenly broke out. The glass of the timeline shattered, and the vision was ghosted. Scipio's figure looped. Kill the assassin. He had a splitting headache, his palms were red and swollen with blood dripping on the map. The soldiers outside the tent stared back and stepped back, the tip of their spear trembling. Repeat the prophecy. The evil spirit of time. The deputy general's legs went weak and he threw the wine bottle with a crack. Monster. Marshal, the elephant soldiers have arrived, and the border defeat is doomed. Lin Yuyan's phantom projection shouted urgently, the crack is expanding. Mu Xue, overload the frequency. Mu Xue directed from the air, and the screen jumped wildly. Reckless ghost, the stabilizer pulse is fully turned on, stitching plus blue light explosion. Despair suffocated, the crack swallowed up the memory. Li Xiu turned the button crazily, the bracelet's silver thunder exploded, and the time-crisp sound repaired. He calmly pushed the map, logic as sharp as a knife. Marshal, the elephant soldiers are heading east, 3 rounds of kerosene arrows plus shield stab array to counterattack. Evidence, foresight that Hannibal's left wing is weak. Scipio's eyes widened, his armored body trembled, the sword fell and rustled, and his voice trembled. Prophet? Elephant, the formation is broken, the oracle is telling the foreigners. The whole army changes, and peace arises on the border. The soldiers around the lieutenant knelt down in worship, their torches glowing in admiration, and the veterans jumped up and screamed, destroy the plan and become the god of war. Carthage will kneel down, and the Middle East will be peaceful for 1,000 years. Jumping back to the portal, the butterfly effect surges, and the modern border data projection flashes green, the lines of conflict are converged, and the seeds of peace are implanted. But the laser net of Fu Han's 500th Brigade blasted into the arena, the hunter's prototype claws tore through the ruins and roared, and the heat wave twisted the sand and dust to make it bloody. Fu Han raised his gun with a grin, Zama's reversal. Boy, you detonated the collapse of time and space. Li Xiu's blue light shield buzzed, and the 2 goddesses clenched their hands, heroic god of war. But the hunter is deformed and devouring the portal. Qin Feng's black robe appeared, his silver hair floated like moonlight, the runes resonated with golden light, and his low voice struck his heart. Boy, let me reveal the secret. Qin Feng, originally the guardian of time, a former defector from the administration. Join forces to defeat Fu Han. Time showdown explodes. Qin Feng's figure twisted and teleported in the water, blocking the laser net and flashing silver light. Fu Han's adjutant screamed and melted, traitor Qin Feng. Guardian Alliance monster. Qin Feng glanced at Li Xiu, ambitious boy, Shoheng Lenzyu, rune lock hunter. Li Xiu's inner OS, the old guy is useful. He jumped to set up an ambush, the blue light grid plus stable bombs roared, the arena battlefield was filled with thunder and lightning, the smell of sizzling electricity hit his nostrils, and the agents twitched and fell to the ground in a pile of corpses. Fu Han's sunglasses shattered and bloodshot, and his voice trembled, 500 mutated zombies, your alliance of gods and demons. The Normandy lock has failed. The hunter roared and rushed towards him, his claw shadow tore into the air. Qin Feng's black robe instigated the rune wall to block it, Lin Yuyan and Mu Xue teamed up to project fire oil to simulate arrow rain, exploding the beast's body and splattering blood and flesh. Li Xiu's blue light was booming, and the 2 goddesses jumped out of the back pool with splashes of water, big jump to the Roman ruins. Qin Feng's clue, take off from the ruins 50 miles southeast. The world was vaguely reset, and the bracelet's steady waves were like a cool spring washing away the cracks of the paradox. The 3 of them went straight to the southeastern wilderness at the foot of the Great Wall. The SUV engine roared and drifted away, the dust was flying, and the night wind carried the smell of weeds and hay. Fu Han roared and chased after him, the helicopter propeller buzzed and tore into the sky, the laser tracking red dot swept the roadside trees and set fire, locked the coordinates. The portal of the Roman Colosseum. Boy, you hit the time-hunting net. The enemy is defeated. The remaining soldiers fled, the engine roared away, and Fu Han's figure twisted and retreated into the night shadow. See you at the next node, the ultimate portal. The arena was silent, the blood and sand were filled with heat, and the golden light of the key to stability fell into the bracelet, distorting the pressure by 10%. Li Xiu gasped and laughed, my hero is revealed. Zama, god of war, peace on the border. Qin Feng raised his lips, yes. But the archaeological team of passers-by appeared in the surrounding ruins, and local explorers gathered around with eyes wide open and trembling. The old professor, who was the leader, knelt down with weak legs, and said in a hoarse voice, witnessing the war between gods. Li Xiu. Hero of time. Zama data changes in real time, peace butterfly. Worship, live broadcast to you all. The girls screamed and rushed towards you, god of war, marry me. King of Roman ruins. Have a great orgasm. The two goddesses Li Xiu stood in the middle of the battlefield, the blue light reflected the red setting sun, and people worshipped and knelt down like a wave. The old professor's tearful eyes trembled, heroes reverse history, there is no war on the border, a miracle. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were moist, and she confessed affectionately. Her wet lips pressed against her ear and breathed warmly, Li Xiu, my hero. I fell in love with you from the ruins, and my ambition resonates forever. Marry you and change the wife of the world. She looked at the undulating snow-white peaks, biting her lips arrogantly with tears rolling down her nose, and the fragrance of roses was intoxicating. Mu Xue smiled and pushed away, her glasses flashed and her fingers slid across her chest, Sister Lin's exclusive. Reckless god of war, I am the stabilizer to save the situation, a threesome of peach blossoms. Ambition king, give me a kiss. The purple hair shook her mint lips and electric current rushed through her body. The three of them kissed with passion like water waves. Everyone screamed and worshipped, hero CP is invincible. Queen of time. Celebration party and carnival. The ruins turned into a temporary camp, with blazing campfires and sizzling barbecue oil, and the smell of wine, musk, and earth mixed with blood and sand. The explorers sat around and sang songs, and the rhythm of the guitar strings was as brisk as the heartbeat. Li Xiu laughed wildly in his heart, so cool. The goddess makes a double confession, everyone kneels and licks her, and a double harvest of wealth and history comes. Lin Yuyan drank and hummed proudly, heroes drink more, I will replenish all the knowledge about Rome, Mu Xue touch your legs less. Mu Xue adjusted the pulse of the bracelet with her fingers, and narrowed her eyes, stable upgrade, the next step is nuclear fusion in World War II. Reckless man, reward for intimacy. Qin Feng sat in black robe, silver Fa Yinghua whispered, the carnival has stopped. Boy, the conspiracy of the head of the authority has been revealed, they hide the ultimate portal, the core of Atlantis, and control all historical lines. The 3-day countdown to the Qin War, the devourer has awakened, and time and space are on the verge of collapse. Follow me, otherwise the whole world will be ashes. Paradox crisis breaks out. The Zama effect backfired, the portal vortex swirled wildly and was filled with red cracks, the vision was superimposed with double images, and the memory conflict caused a headache. Mu Xue's eyes widened behind her glasses, and her hands trembled and she overloaded the stabilizer, reckless devils, fully activate the device. The risk of crack swallowing is 90%. The data on the screen exploded red, and the electric current coursed through her purple hair. She bit her lip and screamed for pulse injection. Fu Han took advantage of the opportunity to lock his eyebrows with a laser, die. Li Xiu blocked it with a flash of blue light, and Qin Feng teleported and knocked him away with a palm, Shouheng wins ambition. Boy, you win this game. The crackling sound of the campfire stopped suddenly, like the muffled sound of a sudden cardiac arrest. The night wind stirred up the bloody sand, mixed with the low roars of hunters in the distance like beasts grinding their teeth. The red lasers wandered among the ruins like will-o'-the-wisps, sweeping across the edge of the camp, and the shadows of the trees stretched into claws. The explorer's face turned pale, and the wine glass shattered on the ground. The old professor's knees weakened, and his voice trembled like chaff, the aftermath of the war between gods. Hunters. They are deformed, their eyes are as red as the blood moon, and they devour everything. The girls screamed and held their heads and retreated, worshipping turned into panic. The bonfire was red. Their faces were twisted, and tears mixed with sweat rolled down. Heroes, help. Fu Han's remnants, the helicopter buzzing is approaching the horizon, the thermal imaging locks our heat source. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm trembled slightly, and the knob of his bracelet buzzed, and his inner OS said, just as the pleasure exploded, the crisis hook exploded. My ambition empire is taking off, the shadow of Atlantis is overwhelming, and I will kill the remnants first. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened, her white arms hugged his waist tightly, the scent of roses mixed with campfire smoke filled her nostrils, her voice trembled. Li Xiu, the devourer that Qin Feng said has woken up. The Zama effect backfired, the crack in the door faintly pulled at the memory, and a ghost of Scipio knelt down in my mind. Mu Xue's purple hair fluttered in the wind. Tossing around, the red alert flashed behind his glasses, and his fingers flew around. The projection shielding network buzzed and expanded. Reckless ghost, the aftermath of overloading the stabilizer, the pulse aftermath is numbing my legs. The remnants of the party ascended directly. Laser plus hunter cub, escape. Beach base default, private island 100 miles southeast of the Great Wall. Qin Feng's black robe stirred, his silver hair reflected the moon like a knife, his cold eyes scanned the horizon, and the rune's golden light murmured like muffled thunder, boy, wake up from a carnival dream. The remnants of the administration are assassinated on a daily basis, just get used to it. I will train you in combat skills, otherwise the leader of Atlantis will laugh at you and see you turn into ashes. Teleport. His figure twisted in the water, pulling everyone into the night shadow. The SUV engine roared and kicked up dust, and the red laser grazed the roof of the car, and the smell of molten metal was pungent. The explorers screamed in admiration and couldn't catch up. The old professor knelt on the sand with weak legs and shouted, "The hero of time escapes." Live broadcast all over the world, and the miracle of Zama will be passed down forever. But the hunter is chasing me, and the crisis is overwhelming. The convoy rushed through the wilderness, the claws of the hunter cubs tore into the rocks on the roadside and roared. The heat wave twisted the air and smelled of rotten meat. Fu Han's voice echoed ghostly from the communicator, Li Xiu, Zama Shaoxing. 500 remnants are enough to make you hate. Normandy failed, new lock, the ruins node was invented. Li Xiu sneered and turned his bracelet. He had predicted 3 minutes ago, the cubs would outflank him from the left wing, raining down kerosene bullets. The world was reset. He piled stones on the roadside to carve rune plasma nets, and Mu Xue projected fire oil to simulate exploding cubs, spraying blood mist and filling the air with the smell of sizzling meat. Lin Yuyan's eyes were moist, and she held his hand tremblingly. The hero predicts and saves, but the paradox hurts like a needle pricking my heart. Qin Zhan counts down to 3 days, and the devourer roars in my ear. Back on track. The plasma network exploded, the cub howled and twitched and fell to the ground, black blood seeped out of the sofa and smelled bad, the remaining pilot's eyes bulged, and the communicator trembled. Monster preset. He jumps 500 abnormal paths in a row. Boss, retreat. The helicopter circled and fled away, and Li Xiu roared in his heart, daily assassination. I make complaints for breakfast. Qin Feng glanced at him and raised his lips, that's right, boy. The first lesson in defensive combat skills, rune teleportation to lock the enemy. Everyone gasped and laughed, The SUV drove into the private island on the beach, the waves crashed on the shore like drums, the salty and wet sea breeze hit the face with the sweet taste of coconuts, and the silvery moonlight stretched out the shadows on the beach. The new daily life is stable, the beach villa is brightly lit, the cool breeze of the air conditioner washes away the stench of blood and sweat. Li Xiu leans on the sofa to browse the stock market app, the seed effect of peace in Zama breaks out, the green wave of conflict data in the Middle East rolls in, oil stocks soar, his 20 million principal has increased tenfold, and he has gone straight to the prototype of a 200 million empire. Inner OS. The war dividends turned into a mountain of wealth. The 1890 incandescent lamp patent stabilized the richest man. The next step was to invent a revolution, and nuclear fusion dominated in advance. Lin Yuyan changed into a bikini, her snow-white curves were dazzling, and the fragrance of roses hit her nose. She held the fruit plate and hummed arrogantly, "King of heroic investors, drink coconut water while listening to my research, the Egyptian pyramid of Zamalian, inventing node-locked Edison bulbs and upgrading LED prototypes, reversing the energy war." Her almond-shaped eyes sparkled, pointing to the tablet rune projection, her voice was soft but suppressed, but the shadow of Atlantis. The Qin War devourer, the line of history is pulled like a rope to strangle the neck. Mu Xue came ashore wet, her purple hair was dripping with mint scent, her glasses were hazy, and the prototype of the handheld stabilizer was buzzing and upgrading. Master of the reckless empire, all modules of the device are unlocked, anti-tracking invisible net plus automatic crack stitching, the paradox tolerance is broken by 70%. Zama debugs the data. The next step is to turn World War II nuclear explosions into clean energy. She narrowed her charming eyes, knelt on the beach and slid her fingers on Li Xiu's thigh, an electric current rushed through her body. Reward dear hot, threesome on the beach? Lin Yuyan blushed and pushed away, and the peaks trembled. Sister Lin is exclusive. Mu Xue Xiao, the hero concentrates on the plan. Qin Feng sat under the coconut tree, his silver hair fluttering in the wind, and whispered, "Good understanding of the division of labor. But, kid, you can predict 500 paths in a row and teleport with me, otherwise Fu Han's new agent alliance will have its claws stretched out." Welfare broke out, the waves on the beach beat against the ankles and were bone-chilling, the three goddesses frolicked around Li Xiu, the sun was dazzling but there was faint thunder in the distance, and the oppressive black clouds slowly came in. Lin Yuyan threw herself into her arms for a deep kiss, with wet lips and the sweet breath of roses in her ears. "My heroic emperor, Zama god of war. I love your ambition, and I will marry you." Mu Xue hugged her waist from behind, her mint lips pecked her neck, and her fingers adjusted the pulse of the bracelet and said, "Threesome is a blessing, and I am in charge of the stabilizer." The reckless man came back. Qin Feng's silver hair suddenly appeared, and he coughed and interrupted, "Welfare stop. Training." He teleported and demonstrated, and the hot waves exploded on the beach, and blue light flashed in front of Li Xiu, and the electric current rushed through his brain, and his inner OS, old guy Yanshi. "I learned how to kill the boss." The air suddenly condensed, the bonfire crackled like an alarm bell, and the distant buzzing sound approached faintly. Lin Mu stared and trembled. Atlantis? The ultimate crisis. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm trembled slightly, and the OS in his heart, the hook exploded. The leader of my ambition showdown, the king of time takes off. But the night wind brings the hunter's low roar, the red light sweeps the horizon, and crises are coming. Small problems were solved easily, the midnight alarm was blaring, black shadows flashed outside the villa window, Fu Han's remnant assassin's laser dagger pierced the darkness with red light, corroding the air and making it stink. Li Xiu Xiaotiao predicted it and complained in his heart, hunting for a midnight snack. Childish. He teleported his runes and locked his throat, assisted by Qin Feng's silver light. The assassin's eyes widened and trembled, foretelling evil spirits. Imperial ghosts, three-person alliance monsters. He screamed and fell to the ground in a pool of blood, spreading the smell of rust. Mu Xue's invisible net flashed to block the traces. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes fell into her arms in admiration, heroic daily god. But, he whispered before death, the ruins of a large invention were activated, and the portal of Atlantis pulsed. Everyone's faces suddenly condensed, and the sea breeze was as cold as a knife. The team's tacit understanding is highlighted. The seafood at the dinner is roasted and sizzling with oil, and the alcoholic coconut is sweet and mixed with sea salt. Lin Yuyan talks about Egypt's nodes, pyramid runes connect to invent revolution, Edison light bulb plus Tesla AC, nuclear fusion patent 100 years ahead of schedule. Mu Xue's projection simulation buzzed, data confirmed, jump to 1890 New York, rewrite the patent war, to avoid the energy crisis in World War II. Qin Feng knocked on the table, it's planned. But the island security hacking alert was just now, the new agent alliance, the three-man team, the invisible hunter plus the paradox bomb. Li Xiu laughed and slapped the table, I'm going to take off. The Empire takes off, grab the ruins first. Suppression accumulates, black clouds finally press the sea level, thunder rolls down and hunters roar from a distance, projections flash red and explode, the ruins of a large invention are activated. The Egyptian pyramids plus New York factory are pulsing with the internet, and the red light from the core of Atlantis is piercing the screen. Mu Xue's hands trembled and her glasses slid down, reckless ghosts, Fu Han's new agent alliance, 3 figures, the invisible hunter's deformed claws have locked the island's heat source. Lin Yuyan hugged her knees and trembled, with rose-scented tears, heroes, the black cloud of crisis, the dream of revolution is on the verge of being shattered. Qin Feng stood up and hunted in black robes, boy, follow me. Otherwise, the empire will be ashes, and global time and space will collapse. Li Xiu's blue light flourished, and his inner OS, the hook exploded. My ambition is undying, but new agents are approaching, and despair is overwhelming. The waves roar like a doomsday bell, and the red light sweeps the beach and stretches the shadow of blood. The waves roared like wild beasts, smashing into the beach and splashing ice and salty foam. The smell of blood and rust rushed straight into the nose. The red lasers swam in the night sky like poisonous snakes, sweeping over the leaves of coconut trees and sending black smoke curling up. The villa alarm blared like a howling ghost, the silhouettes of 3 invisible shadows pulsated on the projection screen, the red light of the paradox bomb ticked like a heartbeat, and the ghostly whispers of Fu Han's new agent alliance leaked out from the communicator, ghosts of the empire. Tonight the island is destroyed, and ruins are created to lock your space-time veins. Lin Yuyan's tears flashed, her snow-white body hugged her knees and trembled, the scent of roses mixed with sweat and was sticky to her nose, her voice cracked like glass, Li Xiu. The new agent's invisible claws are pulling at the air. I feel the pull of the pyramid runes. The whispers of the Egyptian undead have failed. We are finished. The dream of ambition is shattered at the bottom of the sea. Mu Xue's purple hair fluttered, her glasses fell off the tip of her nose, and her fingers were stiff on the stabilizer. The overloaded electricity numbed her legs, reckless ghost, the invisible network has failed by 70%, and the Qin Zhan devourer has woken up early. There is no way to escape, and the sea is buzzing and blocked. Qin Feng's black robe hunted in the wind, his silver hair and gray spots spread faintly. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and dropped the smell of the sofa. His cold eyes locked on Li Xiu like a knife, boy, it's daily life in desperate situations. Do you want to follow? Otherwise, Atlantis will laugh at you. Explorers screaming and running away from a distance, the old professor knelt down in the waves with weak legs and shouted, heroes, the new hunter is aberrant. The live broadcast collapsed, and the world witnessed the end. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm trembled wildly, and the knob of the bracelet was beating like a heart, and the OS in his heart was, fuck. The hook explodes on the top, the 3 new agents are invisible plus bombs, and even the prediction of the 500 jump path is stuck. The ambitious empire of 200 million takes off, but the dream of nuclear fusion revolution is shattered. I am unwilling to give in, and the psychological game starts, impulsive jump kill. Or outwit the layout. The old fox Qin Feng hints at sacrifice. His silver hair turns gray and hides secrets. He first suppresses despair and then explodes with excitement. The red light approached 10 meters, the air corroded and smelled like acid rain, the invisible shadow claws tore apart the beach pits and the heat wave hit his face. The gelatinous world in Li Xiu's mind was reset, and the small jump predicted 3 minutes ago, the bomb pulse on the left wing, the laser throat lock on the right wing, and the claw on the center claws the heart. Three-way deadlock. He gritted his teeth and roared, Mu Xue, fully opened the stabilizer to expand the invisible network. Yuyan, rune projections are interfering with the Egyptian pyramids. Qin Feng, cover the teleportation. Mu Xue's fingers were flying, her purple hair was wet with sweat on her neck, her eyes widened behind her glasses and she trembled. Reckless Imperial Lord, 70% of the network, exploded. The blue network exploded and enveloped everyone, and the invisible shadow hit the network and howled miserably. Revealed, the eyes of the 3 agents were bloodshot, and the voice under the mask was harsh. Invisibility failed. The evil spirit foresaw the empire, and the leader Fu Han vowed to kill. Lin Yuyan's eyes were wet, and she pointed at the flat pyramid runes with golden light spurting out. The beach trembled like an earthquake, and the Egyptian undead whispers echoed with the bitterness of sand in their ears. The linkage was successful, and the pulsating ruins backfired on their time and space lines. The silver light of Qin Feng flourished, and the black robe's water wave twisted and teleported to lock an agent's throat. The bone cracked and blood mist sprayed and hit his nostrils. He said in a low voice, "Boy, see clearly, the runes are fused to predict and lock the enemy's weakness." Lin Yuyan screamed in admiration and threw herself into her arms, and her chest was filled with warmth. Heroes are resourceful. The desperate situation has been reversed, and the new agent stared as if he saw a ghost. Mu Xue's legs were weak and she knelt on the sand, her nose was filled with mint and sweat, and her eyes flashed with lightning. The stabilizer saved the day, and the paradox shocked my spine. But their dying projection, the leader's database is open, an opportunity to hack. The second agent's laser swept the ZZ melting network, and Li Xiu's psychological game went crazy, sacrificing small jump endurance for a larger layout. Ambition outweighed fear, and he shouted, "Mu Xue, hack the administration. I jump to the Industrial Revolution node, steal steam secrets, and crush Fu Han's commercial lock in modern times." The colloid of the world collapsed, Li Xiu's blue light exploded, and his figure was submerged into the cracks in time and space. Everyone screamed and worshipped, "Big jump. The heroic empire takes off." His inner OS. Desperation hits the bottom, a counterattack breaks out, and the Industrial Revolution is first tried in a small way. The secret of improving what steam engine is obtained, modern science and technology make a leap, and the stock market empire snowballs. In 1769 in Manchester, England, coal smoke choked the nose and rust hit the heat wave. The steam engine in the factory roared like thunder, the gears gnashed and squeaked, and the workers' faces were black and sweaty, coughing dust and bitter. Li Xiu sneaked into Watt's workshop invisibly, scanned the secret scroll with the blue light of the runes in his palm, and predicted the improvement blueprint flash brain. The pressure valve was upgraded plus the piston efficiency was doubled, and the stolen memory was like an electric current flowing through his body. Old man Watt suddenly turned his head, his face wrinkled by the oil lamp and he looked suspiciously, "Ghost? Secret thief?" Li Xiu jumped out of the way, laughing wildly in his heart. The old antique stared, and the historical butterfly flapped. Back on track, the waves on the beach cool your feet, the blue light reunites, Li Xiu holds the secret steam volume in his palm, the projection buzzes, and the modern factory simulation sprays out, upgraded steam engine, efficiency 200%, the prelude to nuclear fusion. The stock market app is opened, and energy stocks surge in green waves. 200 million gold doubled, heading straight towards the billion-dollar empire cornerstone. Mu Xue's projection flashed red, her purple hair fluttered with mint, her charming eyes widened and trembled behind her glasses. The reckless ghost successfully hacked into the information of the head of the administration, Fu Han's boss, the Chancellor of Time and Space, a survivor of Atlantis, controlled and swallowed devourer. But, paradox alarm, small industrial crisis, cracks and numbness in the legs. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were wet with admiration, and the scent of roses hugged her waist tightly. The hero's secret magic skills are confirmed. New York's 1890 light bulb plus steam revolution, energy hegemony. Got it. But after 2 days of war, the devourer yelled at me as a nightmare. Qin Feng's silver hair became grayer, he coughed up blood and wiped his lips, sneering, "Boy, it's a good game. But I went over, and sacrificed the seal for you to wake up." The plan advanced, the sand-painted map on the beach, the golden light of the runes reflecting the waves, and the blue light injected into Li Xiu's palm. 1 month after the big jump, 1890 New York plus Egypt are linked, and the nuclear fusion revolution begins. The wealth of the empire snowballs, the king of time. Lin Mu in unison, agree. Qin Feng frowned, "Boy, you have good ambitions." But after 3 days of war with the devourer Qin, the cracks in the spacetime line have arrived, and my silver hair is gray. He coughed up blood and dripped sand, the silver light dimmed, and the surrounding coconut leaves trembled like weeping. The engine of the luxury yacht is roaring, the waves on the sea are splitting and white foam is splashing, the sun is dazzling on the deck and the smell of champagne is sweet, and the waiter's tray of grilled seafood is fragrant with oil. Li Xiu relied on a recliner to browse the stock market, his billion-dollar empire was snowing, and the shares of his business rivals energy giants collapsed. News headlines were projected, mysterious steam technology leaked, What's descendant stock prices evaporated by 50%. The opponent's CEO's face was livid in the remote video, and his voice was trembling, ghostly black hands. Li Xiu's empire, crushing without a shadow. Lin Yuyan's white bikini curves were dazzling, her almond-shaped eyes sparkled with jealousy, and she held a rose-scented fruit plate and kissed her wet lips deeply. Hot sweet, hero wealth king, marry. Mu Xue, don't grab it. Mu Xue came ashore from the swimming pool with wet purple hair, water droplets rolling on the water, mint scent, glasses misty and smiling, kneeling on her legs, fingers sliding on her thighs. Threesome service complaints, I adjust the stabilizer, and the reckless man kisses mint lips in return. Lin Yuyan pushed away the ups and downs, with an arrogant red face, exclusive. But, tacitly agrees to the benefits, the hero's charm is explosive, and the beach yacht is obsessed to death. At the climax of the party, champagne foam sprayed into the air, the waves beat against the boat and drums beat, the three goddesses frolicked around Li Xiu, the sun was hot and thunder was faint in the distance. Qin Feng sat alone on the stern of the boat, hunting in the wind in his black robe, and his silver hair spread and whispered, "Boy, enjoy it. I sacrificed myself to seal the lineage of Atlantis, so that the door can open to you." But the devourer wakes up, and Qin Zhan's day, the time and space line hurts like fire. Li Xiu's inner game deepened, the old guy is secretly worried, is the ambition of the empire worthy of his sacrifice? The psychological balance is tilted, join forces to kill the leader and repay the favor. He injected blue light into the stabilizer, and the buzzing was upgraded to a 1-year jump, and the predictive picture flashed. New York 1890, Fu Hansuo was fighting, and the nuclear fusion patent was the first. A small paradoxical crisis broke out, the ripples on the sea surface were twisted, and the cracks were pulling in the aftermath of the industrial jump. The ghost of what in Li Xiu's mind glared, and his legs were numb like needles. Mu Xue screamed and the stabilizer exploded, the cracks are magnified. The 1-year jump unlocked but backfired, and the historical line collapsed slightly. Lin Yuyan hugged her knees and trembled with rose-scented tears, hero pain. Egyptian rune stitching. With the help of Qin Feng's silver light, the three of them worked together to wrap up the cracks with the blue-gold net, and the buzzing heat wave mixed with the smell of burned meat. The paradox was broken by 90%, and the 1-year jump was officially unlocked. Mu Xue winked and admired, reckless imperial god, upgrade and win. The leader's information confirms that Atlantis controls the entire map of Devourer. The excitement hit the top, the yacht deck cheered,
the salty and sweet sea breeze washed away the crisis. Li Xiu laughed in his inner OS, winning with a clever plan. 1 billion empire plus 1 year jump, the invention revolution is just around the corner, Fu Han's new agent is in ashes every day. But the projection suddenly flashes red and explodes, the time paradox breaks out. The history line collapse alarm is piercing, the global stock market is flashing green and red, the seeds of peace in the Middle East are reversed and the war is rekindled, the shadow of Zama's miracle is distorted, the Egyptian pyramid runes are crazy red, and the core roar of Atlantis shakes the screen like a doomsday clock, Imperial Boy, overload and rewrite. The time and space line is broken break, the devourers are all awake, Qin Zhan 0 hour. Qin Feng's silver hair turned gray and he coughed up blood, and his black robes were stained with blood. Everyone's face turned pale and screamed, Master. The history collapsed. The infinite black hole pulled, and the whirlpool roared with blood shadows. Li Xiu's blue light trembled, and he roared in his heart, the big hook exploded. The peak of ambition, the climax of collapse, is it reversed? The whirlpool on the sea surface is like the mouth of a black hole monster, and the blood-red waves are rolling thousands of feet high, mixed with the smell of rotten fish and the stench of melted metal, rushing straight to the deck. The blood shadow of the devourer roars deafeningly, and ghost claws with distorted human faces emerge from the bottom of the waves. The steel plates of the yacht are scratched and sparks are flying. The global news on the projection screen flashed red and collapsed, and the war in the Middle East was replayed, tank tracks crushed the yellow sand of the desert, missile-tail flames shredded the night sky, explosion fireballs engulfed the city and screamed, the stock market green waves rolled down like tears of blood, Li Xiu's billion-dollar empire cornerstone 70% evaporated in an instant, and the CEO of the energy giant laughed wildly and twisted in the video, a ghostly empire? History bites back, and what steam dream is shattered into ashes. Lin Yuyan's apricot tears burst into tears and the fragrance of roses dyed the salty moisture. She trembled on the snow-white peaks and knelt down with her knees in her arms, her voice breaking like waves breaking on a reef, Li Xiu. The Egyptian pyramid runes are all red and pulsating, the undead of Atlantis are swallowing my brain. The seeds of peace in the Middle East have withered, and the miracles of Zama have been twisted into a slaughterhouse. Our ambitions are all over, and we will sleep forever under the sea. Mu Xue's purple hair fluttered and stuck to her sweaty neck, and her glasses fell off and shattered. The cracked lenses jingled, and the eyes widened with fear as the lightning flashed, the stabilizer exploded and was overloaded by 90%. The cracks pulled at the leg and burned it like thousands of needles. The aftermath of the industrial jump amplified, and the devourer woke up and locked. Reckless ghost, the global live broadcast collapsed, and billions of eyes watched us turn into ashes. Qin Feng's black robe was blood-stained and rolled down the deck. His silver hair was as gray as a dead man's withered grass. The smell of rust hit his nostrils as he coughed up blood and stretched his gray eyes. Li Xiu trembled and whispered, "Boy." At the 0 hour of the Qin War, the speaker of Atlantis controlled the devourer. I sacrificed to seal the door in order for you to awaken. Now. His silver hair is all gray and his strength is exhausted. Escape? No way. Kill. Maybe, join forces for a last-ditch effort. A buzzing sound rose in the distance to block the sky, and Fu Han's remnants of the new agent alliance voted. The shadow ghost reappeared, with a sneer like a knife under the mask, "Imperial Boy, the leader personally marches. The Chancellor of Time and Space has arrived, the historical line is broken, and your butterfly wings are cut to pieces." The yacht tilted violently, the waiter screamed and fell into the sea, and the waves swallowed up blood spray. The boss's face was pale and his legs were soft. Heroes, Doomsday Live broadcast. Global worship has turned into a curse. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm trembled like a heart spasm, the gelatinous world of the bracelet knob was reset, and the inner OS, fuck. The big hook exploded, the ambition of the empire was reduced to ashes, the war in the Middle East resumed, the dream of nuclear fusion in World War II was shattered,
and the peace of Zama reversed the massacre. The devourer's blood shadow claw is nearly 5 meters away, and the rotten smell hits his face. Psychological game collapse, impulsively jump to kill the speaker. Sacrifice Qin Feng. I am unwilling to give up, and I am desperate. I reverse my strategy, jump all the nodes, and reshape the world. The blood shadow claws tore through the air and hissed and corroded. Li Xiu gritted his teeth and roared, Mu Xue, the stabilizer's ultimate fusion of steam secrets plus rune teleportation, full 1-year jump. Yuyan, the ultimate puzzle solver of the Egyptian pyramids, opening the global ruins interconnection portal. Qin Feng, the silver light is injected into my blue light, sacrificing power for my god-level prediction. Mu Xue's fingers were stiff and flying, and the stabilizer was buzzing red. Explosion, the electric current went numb through the legs and went straight to the spine. She screamed with tears in her eyes, reckless Empire Lord. The fusion limit is 90% broken, the cracks are automatically stitched plus the pulse aftermath bites the devourer. But the rebound pain is like fire burning my chest. The blue-gold net exploded and wrapped everyone, the blood shadow hit the net, twisted and howled, and thousands of ghost faces appeared, and the rotten blood sprayed on the deck, sticky and hot. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were wet and she clicked the tablet furiously. The pyramid runes of the global interconnection were pulsating in gold and red, the bricks of the Great Wall were cracking, the Mayan stone sculptures were trembling, the dust of the Roman arena was flying, and the steam of the New York factory was roaring. Her voice was trembling in worship, heroic command God. The ultimate portal is unlocked, Zama, Egypt, steam, lightbulb are all fused, and Atlantis core counter-control opportunities. Qin Feng's gray hair was floating, and the silver light was the strongest. The last explosion was injected into Li Xiu's palm, blood shot from the corner of his lips, he fell to the ground and gasped, "Boy, take it. I will exchange half of my life seal for you to kill the speaker, Atlantis's blood debt, pay for it." Li Xiu's blue light surged and merged with the silver light, the water wave of his figure twisted and jumped, and he laughed wildly in his heart. The old fox sacrificed his heart, his ambition exploded, jumped to multiple nodes in a row, reversed the invention of war, and rebuild peace and prosperity. The world's colloid collapses, the first jump, the source of the 1948 war in the Middle East, the desert wind and sand choke the nose, the smell of gunpowder and sulfur, the flame tongue of the tank muzzle licks the night sky and roars, the soldiers' faces are bloodied and distorted, screaming and charging. Li Xiu invisibly teleported the rune lock into the general's mind, and 500 variations of predictions jumped into his memory, the PC blueprint flashed, the oil-sharing agreement was signed in advance, the missile trajectory stopped, and the soldiers trembled and retreated with wide eyes, ghosts and gods. The phantom of war, cease fire. The butterflies fluttered, the picture was reshaped, the desert oasis bloomed, and the global news projection flashed, miracle of peace in the Middle East, war reversed. Second jump, on the eve of Hiroshima in 1945, World War II, a mushroom cloud heralded a heat wave, the gears of the atomic bomb factory creaked and smelled of rust, and scientists frowned and calculated wildly under the lights. Li Xiu's steam secret scroll projected the fusion nuclear fusion blueprint, and entered the memory of Edison's light bulb LED upgrade, clean energy revolution, nuclear bombs turned into fusion power generation. The scientist suddenly turned his head, his eyes bulged behind his glasses and trembled, apocalypse? 1,000 times more efficient, rewriting history. Butterflies burst out, New York's 1890 light bulbs lit up the world, energy stocks rolled red and the billion-dollar empire was resurrected 100 times. The right track converges, the vortex on the sea shrinks and the blood shadow wails and disperses, the yacht deck stabilizes and the waves hit the salty ice, Li Xiu reunites with the blue light, and the global relics are projected on the palm of the hand. The golden glow of the internet buzzes, multi-node reversal and victory. Peace in the Middle East blooms, nuclear fusion patent seize the lead, World War II clean energy replaces massacre, Zama's miracle reappears. Lin Yuyan pressed her chest to the ground, the scent of hot roses filling her nostrils, her almond-shaped eyes sparkling with tears, and she screamed, "Heroic god-level jumps." The Egyptian runes are confirmed, the ultimate portal is fully opened, and the core veins of Atlantis are weakened. He put on his glasses again and his charming eyes widened and trembled, the stabilizer exploded to the limit, and the paradox tolerance exceeded 95%. Hacked the whole picture of the leader, the survivors of Atlantis, the chancellor of time and space, controlled the authority for thousands of years, and the devourer slaves locked history to a standstill. The global stock market is booming, and billions of people worship live broadcast, Li Xiu Empire, God of Time. Passers-by from all over the world screamed in admiration at the TV wall in the distance, and the ants on the streets of Beijing stared and pushed. The heroes of time reversed the war, and the golden light of the Great Wall of China protects us. A man in a suit on Wall Street in New York knelt down. Nuclear fusion revolution, the stock price of the empire has doubled, a miracle. Fu Han's personal expedition broke out, the fissures in the sea tore open the laser-red network like a blood python. The speaker's ghostly projection appeared, Atlantis's blue robe and silver crown eyes were like abyss, the sneer echoed in the ears with the salty sea breeze, "Boy, little reversal trick." The whole picture of the administration. "We keep time and space stationary, you butterfly fan," the whole army of Devourer is suppressing the situation. Fu Han's figure teleported to lock his throat, the laser claws tore through the air to create a smelting stench, and the new agents and remnants roared and roared. Li Xiu's psychological game deepens, the battle is epic. Inner OS, the speaker taunts the bottom, and I explode the trump card, the ultimate fusion of Qin Feng's silver light plus stabilizer plus runes, divine foreknowledge to lock the weakness. He roared, "Team together, slaughter." Qin Feng fell to the ground and the remaining silver light exploded to assist teleportation. Lin Yuyan's pyramid rune projection interfered with the speaker's brain waves and was buzzing with electromagnetic shock. The pulse aftermath of Mu Xue's stabilizer backfired and the blood shadow was reflected. The ghost howled and distorted black blood sprayed out on the deck with a moldy smell. Li Xiu's blue light flourished, and he jumped forward and predicted 1,000 variations. He teleported for 1 year. The plasma nuclear fusion network exploded in his palm. The first wave of blood shadows screamed with broken claws and evaporated. The heat wave hit his face. Fu Han's laser swept his throat and hit the net. His mask was torn with bloodshot eyes and his eyes were bulging and trembling, precognition of the empire. Speaker, weakness exposed. The speaker's blue robe hunted and twisted, the core roar of Atlantis shook the screen, the red light pulse was weak, Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes screamed, the ultimate portal is open. The rune's interconnection counter-controls the devourer, the global rune locks speaker time and space line. Mu Xue's fingers danced wildly, the red gold of the stabilizer flashed, and the electric current flashed across the deck. She looked at him in admiration, reckless god, install the ultimate fusion nuclear fusion, and the devourer destroys the pulse. Li Xiu teleported and locked the speaker's throat, and the rune silver light predicted the blueprint in his mind, the weak core of Atlantis was exposed, and a punch of plasma penetrated it. The speaker's projection shattered and howled miserably into the cracks, "Boy, the final battle, the origin of Atlantis is waiting for you." The blood of Fu Han's remnant party was all evaporated, and the laser network collapsed. Sparks rained down into the sea and splashed with blood. The climax of the epic battle, the calm waves on the sea gently lapped the salty sweetness, and global news headlines went crazy, Li Xiu, God of Time, rebuilds peace and prosperity. The war stops, revolution is invented, long live the empire. The team reunited and embraced, Lin Yuyan's rose lips kissed deeply, hot and sweet, the mountains pressed tightly and trembled, and she hummed proudly, "Hero exclusive, 3 People's Welfare Supplement." The whole picture of the administration revealed, the speaker has enslaved mankind for thousands of years, and the time and space are still, and ambitions are forbidden. Mu Xue's mint-flavored fingers slid over her legs, and she knelt down with her charming eyes, "The peak of intimate CP, the stabilizer artifact will always be with you." Qin Feng's gray hair slowly grew silver, and he coughed up blood and wiped his lips with a sneer. Boy, I sacrificed my origin, the hook is still there. Li Xiu laughed and said, it's so exciting. The ambitious empire of hundreds of billions takes off, and the world worships it daily, but the challenge of the speaker is faint, and the roar of Atlantis under the sea returns, the final battle, come on. The tiny reversal was so exciting that everyone gasped and laughed. The salty sea breeze washed away the smell of blood and sweat. Li Xiu slapped the table, daily crisis. I'll make my breakfast with wisdom. Mu Xue, stitch up the cracks in the stabilizer. It's a month-long upgrade. Mu Xue knelt on the sand and slid her fingers on the stabilizer, and the current numbed Li Xiu's legs. She narrowed her eyes and said, full module integration of steam secrets, paradox tolerance is 90%, 1-year jump is unlocked. Reward. Yacht party, 3 people's welfare sublimation. Lin Yuyan blushed and trembled, and said proudly, Mu Xue is my only one, kiss her first. Qin Feng's black robe fluttered, and she whispered, let's practice the teleportation lock. The aftershocks on the sea surface were like a heartbeat, the salty and wet waves slapped against the steel plate of the yacht and became sticky. The speaker's real blue robe was bulging. Atlantis's silver crown and golden eyes were locked on Li Xiu like an abyss. The air was distorted, humming, ionized and smelly, and the afterimage of the devourer roared. Black blood dripped from the cracks and dripped onto the deck, corroding and smoking. Imperial boy, the speaker's voice echoed like a 1,000-year-old ice cave, mixed with the rotten sea wind and penetrated the eardrums. Do you fan your butterfly wings to create a small prosperity? The origin portal is opened, time and space stand still for eternity. I have enslaved mankind for 10,000 years, your ambition is in vain. He waved his robe sleeves, the blue light vortex exploded 100 meters, the laser red net was like 10,000 pythons swimming around, tearing the air hissing and scorching. Fu Han's broken body crawled out from the crack, the mask was shattered into flesh and blood, his eyes bulged and trembled, his laser claw locked his throat and roared, the speaker is here. The boy foresaw that the empire will be shattered. The remnants of the party will reorganize, and the global ruins will bite your brain. The global projection screen flashed red and counted down to collapse, and the green wave of the stock market rolled again, and the ant on the streets of Beijing screamed and pushed her legs weakly, the time god has fallen. The war has revived and the dream is shattered. A man in a suit on Wall Street in New York knelt down with blood and tears, the nuclear fusion patent has evaporated, and the empire has hundreds of billions of ashes. Lin Yuyan's eyes widened with fear and she burst into tears. The rose-stained salty and humid mountains trembled and knelt down on her knees. Her voice broke like breaking waves, Li Xiu. The red runes of the Egyptian pyramid exploded and the pulse broke. The origin of Atlantis swallowed my puzzle brain. The speaker's real body pressed down, the internet portal is reversed. We are finished. Mu Xue's purple hair fluttered and stuck to her sweaty neck, her glasses fell off and cracked, her eyes flashed with panic. The red line of the stabilizer is 100% overloaded, and the cracks are pulling like fire whips on the spine. Entering the global network, the speaker's blue light melted and the devourers all woke up. Reckless ghost, live broadcast of billions of curses. Qin Feng's gray hair and silver threads trembled slightly, his black robe was stained with blood and rolled down the deck. He coughed up blood and smelled of rust. He whispered and trembled, boy. I have half-sealed the origin portal. Life is now exhausted. The speaker's weak core is revealed to be useless. Kill. Escape. The yacht tilted violently, the waiter screamed and fell into the sea, and the boss's face turned pale and his legs weakened, the end of the world. Hero worship turns into despair. The blue light in Li Xiu's palm convulsed like a heart bursting, the gelatinous world of the bracelet knob was reset, and the OS in his heart said, fuck. The speaker's true identity is revealed, the ambitious empire is in jeopardy, Fu Han's remnant party is reorganized and ridiculed, the oasis in the Middle East is drying up, the fusion dream of World War II is shattered, and the global rune red veins. Psychological game collapse, the origin of impulsive jumps. Sacrificing the team. I am not willing to give in, and I push the limit of despair, fully activate the fusion, and use the divine sealing technique to reverse the massacre. The blood net claw was nearly 3 meters away and the rotten smell hit his face. He gritted his teeth and roared, Mu Xue, the ultimate nuclear fusion pulse of the stabilizer backfires on the speaker's blue light. Yuyan, the global ruins and runes are interconnected to lock the weak core, Zama's Great Wall of Egypt is all in. Qin Feng, the residual silver light passes on my sealing technique, and they join forces to teleport through the core. Lifting her head to the heavenly spirit, she screamed and trembled with eyes full of charming tears, reckless imperial lord, the ultimate fusion is broken by 120%, the cracks heal themselves plus the aftermath rebounds and burns the robe. It hurts like thousands of needles piercing the heart, but, it's worth it. The blue-gold plasma network exploded and enveloped everyone, the speaker's blue light hit the network and twisted and howled, and thousands of ghostly faces appeared, and black blood sprayed on the deck, hot and sticky. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were wet and she clicked on the tablet. The pyramid runes of the global internet pulsed and flashed. The bricks of the Great Wall cracked and thundered, the Mayan stone carvings shook the dust, the Roman arena blood and sand flew, and the steam of the New York factory roared. Her voice trembled in admiration, heroic oracle. The ultimate source of internet counter-control, the speaker's weak core is locked, and the core pulse of Atlantis is broken. Qin Feng's gray hair drifted, and the remaining silver light finally burst into injection. In the palm of Li Xiu's palm, blood rushed to the corners of his lips. He fell to the ground and gasped for breath. He spoke in a low voice, boy, the heart secret of the sealing technique, the silver light condenses into blue light, predicts thousands of changes and penetrates the core, and the time and space are still and counterattacks. Repay my blood debt. The colloid of the world collapsed, the first teleportation, the origin of Atlantis was cracked on the sea floor, the blue light vortex heat waves smelled rotten blood, and the speaker's true body, the silver crown, twisted and roared in the niche. Li Xiu's invisible foreknowledge of the 1,000 changes lock weak core, the steam secret scroll plus the fusion blueprint projection flashed through his mind, the clean revolution melts into stillness, and the enslavement of thousands of years is shattered. The speaker's golden eyes bulged and trembled as he retreated, foreknowledge of ghosts and gods. The origin, a phantom. The butterfly flapped, and the weak golden light of the origin vein collapsed. Second teleportation, Fu Han reorganized the remnants of the party and hid in the black castle of the administration, the laser-red net gears creaked and smelled like rust, and the agent mask sneered and danced wildly. Li Xiu's rune silver plasma penetrated the heart of the fort, and the aftermath of the stabilizer pulse exploded, the remnants of the party are all destroyed, the speaker's lackeys are ashes. Fu Han's laser claw tore into the air and deflected, his bloodshot mask with bulging eyes was completely shattered, and he trembled in despair, foreknowledge of the empire. Speaker, save me. History is still and dreams are shattered, reorganization is hopeless. His remaining body evaporated with black smoke and rotten smell, the remnants screamed and twisted, flesh and blood melted, and the global projection flashed, Fu Han was defeated, the remnants of the administration were reduced to ashes. The right track converges, the whirlpool on the sea shrinks and the blood shadow disappears forever, the waves on the yacht deck are steady and the waves gently lap the salty ice. Li Xiu reunites with blue light and projects the global ruins on his palm with a buzzing seal of golden light. He wins, God seals the true body of Tu Zhen. Fu Han reorganizes and shatters, the speaker's origin veins are severed and escapes, the Middle East green Zhou Yongsheng, the World War II fusion patent is worth 1 trillion, and Zama's divine glory is universal. Lin Yuyan pressed her breasts against the mountains, the scent of hot roses filled her nostrils, her almond-shaped eyes shone with tears, and she screamed in deep kisses that were hot and sweet, the heroic sealing god. The Egyptian rune confirms that the origin is weakened, Atlantis. Slavery, exclusive benefits, 3 people partying afterward. Mu Xue knelt down with weak legs, her purple hair was sweating, her eyes were wide and her eyes were trembling, and her fingers were trembling. Reckless God, the stabilizer is eternal. Despair retreats to the bottom of the sea. The empire's stock market is booming 1,000 times, and the world is worshipping Li Xiu, the time overlord. Qin Feng's gray hair was full of silver, and he stood up with a sneer, wiping the blood. Boy, the magic skills have been integrated, and the blood debt has been paid temporarily. Global news headlines are frenzied in worship, and passers-by on the TV wall scream and pay homage. An ant on the street in Beijing kneels down and pushes the gold brick incense, and the ashes fly away. The seal of the god of time wins. The golden light of the Great Wall protects China, and peace will last forever. A man in a suit on Wall Street in New York bursts into tears in worship and kneels. Fu Han's dog legs evaporate. The stock price of the nuclear fusion empire is 10,000 times higher, and the miracle will last forever world. The girl from Shibuya, Tokyo, punched her chest and screamed, "The speaker is really broken, Li Xiu is so handsome, the new line of history is so sweet." The yacht waiter got up and kowtowed. Heroes Live broadcast the battle of gods, the end of the world, worship. The boss's face was red and laughed wildly. The empire sponsors 100 billion, and the palace carnival begins. Time and space are stable, and the blue light portal teleports everyone directly to the new palace of Li Xiu's empire, the skyscraper in the sky above New York. LED light bulbs fuse with light and sprinkle gold, the steam gear wall hums and rotates with fresh ionized fragrance, the red waves of Wall Street are snowing outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, and the global stock market projection turns from green to red and explodes 1,000 times. Li Xiu laughs at his inner OS, "It's so cool." The empire of ambition has taken off in the trillions. Fu Han was defeated and regretted and roared to pieces, the speaker retreated in despair, and hundreds of millions of worshippers are daily, but the reflection is heart-wrenching. Great ambition changes history, but butterflies are in pain. Is it worth sacrificing Qin Feng? Unpack the team benefits first. The palace swimming pool was steaming with rose mint fragrance, and Lin Yuyan's swimsuit was slippery and arrogant, pushing her breasts and humming, "Hero Monopoly." It's great to be sealed, and now the three of us are enjoying the benefits. Mu Xue, don't grab the electric current in your fingers. She kissed Li Xiu deeply with her rose lips, wet and sweet, the peaks pressed tightly and trembled, her almond-shaped eyes were charming. Egypt's new line has been sorted out, the ruins of the Middle East oasis are permanent, and the divine glory of Zama is universal. But you are ambitious, don't suppress it recklessly anymore. I'm panicking. Mu Xue's purple hair was wet and her eyes were squinting. Her black silk legs were wrapped around her waist, and the electric current was tingling all over her body. Her mint-scented fingers slid across her belly and she laughed, "Sundra sister, the threesome of reckless gods are in bliss. The ultimate stabilizer is under development, nuclear fusion plus rune eternal version, anti-speaker's original hook. Welfare first," hacked into Fu Han's remaining message. He shouted before steaming, "Wrong letter to the speaker, still dreams are broken, regret." There was a carnival in the palace banquet hall, the fruity aroma of golden wine overflowed, the fusion energy drink served by the waiter was red, and fans of the global live broadcast screamed on the screen, "The welfare live broadcast of the imperial overlord. The family of the god of time is sweet and cruel." Li Xiu hugged two girls with their legs wrapped around his inner OS, blissful relief, ambition reflection, rewriting history is exciting, but paradox is hidden. Qin Fengyan is a kind teacher, so he must learn to seal and stabilize his roots. Qin Feng's black robe leaned against the window, his silver hair fluttering, and his gray eyes locking Li Xiu's voice in a low voice, "Boy, take a rest every day to hide murderous intent." The sealing technique is advanced, silver light condenses the heart, predicts thousands of changes, and melts the world's ruins to lock the origin. The blood debt of Atlantis, I will kill all of them for you for half my life, practice. The blue silver in Li Xiu's palm whirled with electric heat, and his heart burned, inherited from his mentor, he has the magical skill. Mu Xue's flat tablet furiously knocked on the prototype of the stabilizer, and she smiled charmingly with her purple hair sweating, the ultimate version of 95% paradox plus the eternity of the invisible network, hacking into the new line, World War II fusion replaced nuclear massacre, the global clean energy revolution, the empire patented trillions. Lin Yuyan's tablet runes pulsed golden red, her almond-shaped eyes hummed, the new line of history, the Middle East 1948 Oasis alliance is permanent, the miracle of Zama shines in Egypt, the Roman Mayan Great Wall is fully integrated and peaceful. But Fu Han escaped a trace of the remnant soul and reorganized the undercurrent. The projection of Fu Han's residual message flashed, and the afterglow of the laser in the ruins of the Black Castle was sizzling. His blurred and bloody face was twisted in despair and his roar echoed back to the palace, "Speaker. Betrayed stillness. You butterfly boy, the foreknowledge of the seal shattered my dream of reorganization. Regret." The remnant party dispersed around the world and made a comeback. The projection shattered and the black smoke dispersed, Mu Xue's eyes widened and her fingers flew away, the escape thread is cut off, there is no hope of reorganization. But the speaker's origin roared. Li Xiu laughed and reflected on his war intention, Fu Han's defeat will be regretted, the villain will be reduced to ashes, and the ambition empire will be at its peak. The palace lights reflected the smiles of the team, the water in the swimming pool splashed with rose mint and current mixed with it, and there was a flood of admiration from all over the world, Li Xiu's family, the daily life of God. The aftermath of the crack trembled slightly, and the projection suddenly flashed. The speaker's real body in blue robes descended on the sea. The silver crown and golden eyes locked the crowd like a doomsday bell, "Imperial boy, the source of the portal is opened. Kill me. Or will I be swallowed?" Li Xiu's blue light rekindled, and the team's eyes flashed with fighting spirit. The red and black vortex on the dome of the palace was like a giant beast's open mouth. The stench of rotten blood mixed with the ringing of the doomsday bell buzzed into the nasal cavity. The blue-robed ghost flickered, and the speaker roared like thunder and shattered crystals, "Boy. The origin opens the chaos door, and the time collapse countdown is 1 hour. Kill my body, or the world's gray." The heat wave distorted the air, the fusion light of the LED bulb flickered dimly, the boiling bubbles on the surface of the swimming pool popped and burst, and the fragrance of rose mint was instantly overwhelmed by the rot. Lin Yuyan's eyes widened, and she hugged her knees and screamed, her voice trembling like waves breaking into the reef, "Li Xiu." The Chaos Gate's global network of red veins exploded, Atlantis's residual source hooked into the source, it collapsed in an hour, the Egyptian pyramids collapsed, the Great Wall cracked, and our new line dream was shattered. Her rose lips were pale and trembling, the slippery peaks pressed tightly against her knees, and her fingertips pinched the flat plate with golden and red runes pulsing. Mu Xue shook her hair wildly and stuck it to her sweaty neck. Her black silk legs were soft and she knelt down, her glasses fell off and jingled, her eyes flashed in panic, her fingers were flying stiffly, and the stabilizer buzzed with red lines, "Reckless ghost." The Chaos Gate Paradox Index exceeded 200%, stabilizer the overload burned her heart like a whip of fire and whipped her spine, and the leader's system was being hacked. The afterimage of the speaker was cruising through the laser network, and the scorched rust of the palace dome smelled like a smell. Her eyes widened with charming tears, the scent of peppermint sweat mixed with rotten blood, and the electric current in her legs was numb and she screamed and trembled. Qin Feng had gray hair with silver thread standing on end. His black robe was bulging and he was coughing up blood. The smell of rust hit his nose. His gray eyes were locked on the vortex and he spoke in a low voice, "Boy. I'm trying my best. The Chaos Gate is not the original source, but the speaker's hook-tail bait. Suppress first and then rise. The sealing technique is advanced, silver light condenses the heart to lock the weak core, predicting more than 1,000 changes." The blood-red countdown on the ball projection screen flashed, and the ant on the street in Beijing knelt down with weak legs and pushed the gold bricks, and the incense ash flew, "The end of chaos is coming again. The palace of time has collapsed, and the daily life of God is shattered." The men in suits on Wall Street in New York worshipped and pushed with blood and tears, the empire is in jeopardy of trillions, the nuclear fusion patent evaporates, heroes are slaughtered again. The blue-silver light in Li Xiu's palm convulsed like a heart beating wildly, the gelatinous world of the bracelet knob trembled slightly, and the OS in his heart said, fuck. The speaker's hook continues to press, and the chaos gate counts down to 1 hour. Ambitions and empires are gray. The team is in panic, and millions of worshippers are turning into curses. I have grown into a fusion of sealing skills, and put my magical skills to the test, a great reversal. He gritted his teeth and laughed wildly, the blue light surged and merged with Qin Feng's residual silver light rune core fusion, and the water wave of his figure twisted and predicted the myriad changes to lock the weak core of the vortex. Mu Xue, the stabilizer pulse backlash laser network is fully activated. Yuyan, the golden red veins of the global relics internet Zama Egypt are pressing down on the door. Qin Feng, the heart secret is transmitted to me to teleport through the core. The hot wave of rotten blood came 3 meters close to his body, sticky and scalding, and his heart burned wildly, pushed the limit of despair, and flicked the butcher hook. Mu Xue's fingers were flying with lightning, and the stabilizer was flashing gold and red, buzzing, ionizing, fresh, fragrant, and dispelling the rotten odor. She was alluring, eyes wide with tears, screaming and trembling. The ultimate version is broken by 250%. Invisible network plus self-healing cracks rebounded and burned the remnants of the speaker. It hurt like thousands of needles pricking the heavenly spirit. But God of recklessness, it's worth it. The blue and gold plasma network exploded and enveloped the palace, the red and black vortex hit the network and distorted the ghost howl, and the laser-red python hissed and melted, simmering, and the smell of black smoke and mold filled the air. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were moist and she clicked on the tablet. The golden and red runes around the world were pulsing and thundering. The bricks of the Great Wall were thundering, the Egyptian pyramids were filled with dust, and the Mayan stone carvings were flying with blood and sand. Her voice trembled with trembling admiration, the hero predicts the oracle. The internet counter-controls the weakness of chaos, the chancellor's residual source is cut off, and the door is locked. Qin Feng's gray eyes flashed, the silver light finally poured into Li Xiu's palm, and the black robe was stained with blood. He roared in a low voice, heart condensation technique, silver light melts into blue, predicts and melts the whole world, and teleports through the nuclear seal. Li Xiu transformed into a ghost by fusion of blue and silver runes, and teleported straight into the door in 1 year's jump. He laughed inwardly, the teacher gave advice to impress the heart, and the partner's attributes were greatly enhanced, the small test grew, and the speaker's hook was shattered. The whirlpool weak core blue-gold plasma penetrated, the rotten blood sprayed onto the deck, hot and sticky, the blue-robed ghost of the speaker howled and twisted and evaporated, and the black smoke dissipated and the dome healed and buzzed with electric heat. The palace lights were rekindled, the fusion golden light filled the air, the water in the swimming pool gently tapped the rose mint fragrance and revived, and the global projection countdown turned from gray to blood and turned into green waves and snow, chaos door seal. Li Xiu's seal advanced to the slaughter hook, and the Great Wall of Beijing's gold protects eternity. Lin Yuyan threw herself at the top of the mountain, her chest soft and wet, apricot's tears of admiration filled her eyes and she kissed her rose lips with sweet and hot breath. The hero is trying his best. The growth sealing technique is invincible. The Egyptian runes are confirmed, the weakness of chaos is accurately predicted, and the speaker's source is completely cut off. That Sundra's benefits are exclusive to 3 people at night. Her peaks pressed tightly and trembled, and she pushed her breasts with a charming hum. Mu Xue climbed up with weak legs, her purple hair shook with mint sweat, her eyes were wide and trembling as she put on her glasses, her fingers slid over Li Xiu's abdomen and electric currents tingled through her legs, reckless growth god. Hacking into the whole system of the leader, the speaker's origin under the sea, roaring in despair, chaos hook shattering. Stabilizer Eternal Edition 100%, the Empire's stock market will explode 10,000 times more. She wrapped her legs in black stockings around her waist and smiled, licking her ears and breathing heat, and the electric current hit the door and was so refreshing. Qin Feng wiped the blood from his black robe and stood up with a sneer. His gray hair and silver eyes were covered with gray locks. Li Xiu sent a message to Li Xiu, "Boy, you are growing up. The sealing technique is fused, predicting all changes and locking the global ruins. The blood debt continues, rest and practice to advance." Speaker Hooktail is powerless. Global news headlines worshipped frantically, passers-by on the TV wall screamed and saluted, a man in a suit on Wall Street in New York knelt down and burst into tears, "God seals chaos. The nuclear fusion empire patent is complete. The ball revolution, billions take off for eternity." The girl from Shibuya, Tokyo, punched her chest and screamed, "Li Xiuhuai's little test, the new historical line is so sweet." The palace waiter got up and kowtowed with laughter, "Heroes and Gods live broadcast, the Palace of Gods continues." The boss projected a check with a blushing face, "Imperial Palace upgrade, Steam Palace plus Fusion Pool Carnival sponsorship." After the aftermath of the stability of time and space dissipated, Li Xiu laughed and hugged the two girls with their legs wrapped around each other. In his heart, the aftermath was so exciting. The growth of the small test seal is prominent, the partners shine and rebound from the bottom, and hundreds of millions of people worship the peak of the empire. Reflection on ambition, butterfly's secret pain. Team welfare and warm decompression first. The golden wine in the banquet hall was overflowing with fruity aroma, and the fusion energy drink was glowing red as the waiters served plates with hot steam. Fans of the global live broadcast flooded the screen and screamed, "Time God Family Welfare Night. 3 people are having sweet and sadistic live broadcast." Lin Yuyan, a slippery tsundere in a swimsuit, pushed Mu Xue and hummed, "Current girl, fingers don't grab the hero's breasts. I just had a small trial and am now exclusive to the warm night. Egypt's new line oasis is eternal, Zama's glory is universal, but the pressure of the end is so annoying, the speaker's hook is so annoying." Her rose lips kissed Li Xiu deeply, wet and sweet, her peaks trembled softly and pressed against her chest, and her almond-shaped eyes bit her earlobe seductively. Mu Xue's hair was wet and she was smiling seductively, her black stocking legs were clamped around her waist and the electric current was tingling against the sky. Her mint-scented fingers slid across her belly and she whispered, "Sister Tsundere, the 3 reckless gods are going to relieve their stress." Stabilizer leader, the remnant source of the chairman of the sea roared, "The boy grows up and his dreams are broken," and the projection of Fu Han's remnant soul suddenly appeared, "Surrender?" The projection in the banquet hall suddenly flashed with the afterglow of the laser from the ruins of the Black Castle. Fu Han appeared with a blurred and bloody face, distorted, and instead of shouting in despair, he knelt and trembled. His voice cracked and the smell of rust and blood echoed in his nostrils, "Li Xiu. God of time." The speaker betrayed the still dream. "I reorganized the remaining party and wiped it out. I regret it." The remnant soul surrendered and provided internal information to the leader. The core of the authority, the origin of the speaker is hidden in the abyss of Atlantis, and the countdown to the summon time Legion is 3 days, and the Legion laser ship plus thousands of afterimages are locking the global ruins. His bloody face and bulging eyes burst into tears, and the laser claw broke off. Smoking black smoke, the lackeys are flying to dust, the Empire worships, all the information is open, please seal and spare the soul. Lin Yuyan's eyes widened and she screamed stiffly, "Fu Han surrendered." The Egyptian runes were verified to be true, and the leader's weakness was exposed, only 10% of the abyss original vein. Mu Xue's fingers were flying. The tablet of the hacked remnant soul flashed wildly, and the charming electric eyes trembled, intelligence download 100%. The organization of the Time Legion, the complete map of the weak laser core, god of recklessness, a big gift. Qin Feng's gray eyes flashed and he sneered lowly, "Boy, the enemy's pressure is at its lowest, reversal is great. Use it to practice sealing." In the palm of Li Xiu's palm, the blue-silver rotating and humming electric projection was used to seal Fu Han's remnant soul. The silver light condensed the heart and locked the weak core and teleported through it. The remnant soul flew into ashes and black smoke dispersed. The information was permanently embedded in his mind, and he laughed wildly in his heart. Fu Han's betrayal and surrender are huge gains. The leader's intelligence overwhelms the enemy, and all the empire's status and treasures are fully activated, the peak of growth. The global stock market is booming, the green wave is rolling, and the Wall Street ant is pushing the gold bricks and the incense is flying. Fu Han surrenders, God's empire has trillions plus intelligence is invincible. The heat wave of the palace swimming pool is steaming with rose mint current mixed fragrance, and the welfare of the three people is warm. Lin Yuyan hums proudly and pushes her breasts to the climax of a deep kiss, and the humid heat of the mountains is soft and soft, heroic intelligence God. Night God. Late night talk about the end of the world, the speaker is annoying, but the three of them are competing for favors. Mu Xue's legs are wrapped with electricity, and she licks her ears and smiles, stabilizer plus intelligence, anti-core eternity. Qin Feng leaned against the window with gray hair and said, "Boy, the daily routine is over, and the seal is advanced, slaughter the abyss." The aftermath of the crack burst into the palace dome, the red and black vortex of the chaos portal tore open the sky curtain, the stench of rotten blood and the tolling of the doomsday clock hit the nostrils, and the speaker's roar echoed, "Boy." The origin opens the chaos gate, and the countdown to time collapse is 1 hour. Kill my body, or the world's gray. The blue-robed ghost flashed in, the team's eyes were full of fighting spirit. Li Xiu's blue light burned the OS in his palm. Hook continues to fight, ambition is undying, charge. The projection in the banquet hall suddenly flashed red and black, and the blue-robed speaker of the Atlantis abyss appeared with a twisted silver crown. The golden eyes of the abyss locked the world, and the roar of the sky-shattering bells filled the nostrils with the smell of rotten blood. Boy. Fu Han's traitor Hui. The origin summoned the Time Army, and the laser ship's thousands of afterimages were about to launch a general attack in 3 days. New line to destroy the empire. The red network projection of the legions shrieked in the air, the global ruins pulsated with thunder, the bricks of the Great Wall in Beijing cracked and dusted, and the dome of the New York City skyscraper trembled. The fighting spirit in the team's eyes rekindled, and Li Xiulan's silver palm ignited the OS in his heart, a general attack hook, undying ambition, the decisive battle. The aroma of wine from golden bottles in the banquet hall was steaming, and the chaotic sweetness of the rose mint current lingered in the nostrils. Fans of the global live broadcast were swiping their screens like a tsunami, but they were suddenly swallowed up by the explosion of red and black projections. The silver crown of the blue-robed speaker of the Atlantis abyss twisted, and the golden-eyed abyss squirmed like thousands of insects to lock onto the team. The roaring bells shattered the crystal cups and clinked to the ground. The stench of rotten blood filled the hall instantly and the heat wave distorted the air. Boy, 3 days of general attack. Laser ships cruised through the red net and tore through ruins around the world, and thousands of afterimages were locked. The new line of the empire is in ruins. Fu Han rebels, and 10% of the origin vein summons an army to destroy the world. The red projection network expands like a blood python, the Great Wall in Beijing bursts with thunder and dust, the Egyptian pyramids collapse and the golden light dims, the dome of New York skyscraper trembles, the LED light bulb fusion light explodes and the alarm buzzes. The man in a suit on Wall Street knelt down with blood and tears, pushing the gold bricks and the ashes flew away. The Legion of Time is coming again. The empire of God has evaporated by trillions, and the dream of nuclear fusion is shattered. A girl from Shibuya, Tokyo, beat her fists with her fists and screamed, her legs weak. Handsome Li Xiu is in dire straits. New line sweet daily ashes. The doomsday clock is ringing. Lin Yuyan's eyes widened, she hugged her knees stiffly and screamed, her swimsuit was wet and pressed tightly against her knees, her rose lips were pale and trembling, her fingertips pinched the flat plate with golden and red runes, her pulse was beating like a heart spasm. Li Xiu. The Legion intelligence Fu Han exposed the truth, the laser ship has a weak core, there are hidden connections in the abyss, but the global internet is overloaded with counter-control, and the Egyptian sand avalanche cannot be suppressed. it collapsed in 3 days, and our hero's dream was shattered. Her voice shook like waves breaking into rocks, the mountains trembled, tears of admiration and panic intertwined, and the scent of mint sweat mixed with rotten blood hit her nose. Mu Xue frantically swung her sweaty neck, her black stockings fell to her knees, her glasses fell off and jingled, her eyes flashed in panic, her fingers were flying stiffly, and the buzzing red line of the stabilizer surged past 300%, reckless ghost. The Legion Red network hacked into the leader's system, and the stabilizer was whipped with a heart-burning whip. Like fire burning the spine, only 10% of the Abyss's original veins are summoning thousands of afterimages. Even if the intelligence is turned on, the Empire's stock market turns from green to blood red and trillions of gray. She burst into tears, her legs were numb with electricity, she screamed and trembled, and the black silk threads were torn and ionized, and the smell was overflowing. Qin Feng had gray hair with silver thread standing on end. His black robe was bulging and he was coughing up blood. The smell of rust hit his nostrils. His gray eyes locked on the projection and he spoke in a low voice, "Boy, despite despair, the speaker is attacking Hooktail's ambitions. He has fully practiced the sealing technique and teleported into the abyss in 3 days, but the Origin Fusion Legion. I sacrificed my remaining silver light to assist, predicting endless changes." The world's news headlines were filled with blood-red frenzy, and passers-by on the TV wall had weak legs and kowtowed and cursed, "The palace of the god of time has fallen." The Legion's laser ripped through the sky, and the hero woke up from a dream. The palace waiter got up and trembled to push the plate, steaming steam, and the boss's face was livid as he pushed the check and flickered dimly, "Sponsored by the Empire," in vain. The blue-silver light in Li Xiu's palm spasms like a racing heart, the gelatinous world of the bracelet knob trembles, and the OS in his heart, "Fuck." The speaker's 3-day general attack has brought despair to the bottom. The team's panic-stricken worship turned to curse, and the billion-dollar empire is in jeopardy. Reflection on ambition, the butterfly aches in the heart, a trial of growth seal fusion. I teamed up with all my friends to break into the abyss, reverse the control of Tu Yuan, the peak of excitement. He gritted his teeth and laughed wildly. The blue light surged and merged with Qin Feng's residual silver light rune core fusion. The water wave of his figure twisted and predicted hundreds of millions of changes, locking the weak core of the abyss. Mu Xue, the stabilizer ultimate pulse invisible network is fully activated to backfire the army. Yuyan, global heritage trace internet's golden red veins pierce the abyss and press the pulse by 10%. Qin Feng, the heart condensation technique teleports through the core and sacrifices. After 3 days of rest and training, the decisive battle begins. The heat wave of rotting blood is sticky and burning on the skin, and his heart is burning. Push the limit, and rise up to kill the god. The 3-day countdown was like a thunderous countdown. The palace swimming pool and banquet hall turned into a war-prepared fortress, the fusion energy drink was served by the waiter with a red light, the steam evaporated and turned into a buzzing electric heat from the rune array. Mu Xue's fingers were flying with lightning, and the stabilizer was flashing red and gold, buzzing, ionizing, refreshing and fragrant, dispersing the rotten smell. Her eyes widened with tears and she roared, "The eternal version is broken by 400%. Invisible network plus cracks self-healing, rebounding, burning afterimages, it hurts like thousands of needles pricking the sky. Lu Rangshen, you have fully mastered the decisive battle value." Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes moistened and she clicked on the tablet. The golden and red runes around the world pulsed and thundered, the bricks of the Great Wall shook with thunder and dust, the sand and dust rolled back on the Egyptian pyramids, and the blood and sand of the Mayan stone sculptures shone brightly. Her trembling voice turned firm, "Hero predicts the oracle. The internet counter-controls the abyss vein lock by 10%, and the Zama divine glory overwhelms the weak core. Arrogant welfare, practice first and then fight." Qin Feng's gray eyes flashed with silver light into Li Xiu's palm, and the blood-stained black robe rolled down and he shouted in a low voice, "Advanced heart condensation art, the silver light merges with the blue to predict the fusion army, and the teleportation penetrates the core and sacrifices the seal. Li Xiu's blue and silver rune core fusion transformed into a ghost, a one-year teleport trial to lock the world, laughing inwardly. The teacher's advice is overwhelming, the partner's attributes are great, the peak of growth, the total attack is broken. At dawn on the third day, the projection of the red and black army on the skyscraper dome of New York exploded, laser ships cruised in the red net and tore up the air, hissing heat waves and the smell of rotten blood filled the nostrils. Thousands of afterimages were like ghost-tide lock ruins, pulsating alarms and thunder. Ants on the streets around the world knelt down and pushed gold bricks into ashes, general attack of the Legion. The empire of the god of time is in ashes, and New Line's dream is shattered. Li Xiu laughed and hugged the two girls with their legs wrapped around the mountains and instantly moved out of the door. The blue and silver vortex water waves twisted straight into the abyss of Atlantis, and the blue-robed speaker of the underwater palace was silver. The crown stands tall, the golden eyes squirm in the abyss, the boiling bubbles of the rotten blood pool crackle, burst, rust, mildew, rotten and stinking nose, boy, the Legion is locked. Reversal control, 10% of the original veins devour the new line. The laser-red python hissed and melted the dome, creating black smoke, and the afterimage ghost howl hit the face, hot and sticky. The team teleported, and Lin Yuyan screamed and the mountains trembled, the source of the abyss is overwhelming. The rune interconnection is overloaded. Mu Xue's black silk legs were soft and numb with electric current, the stabilizer burned the heart, the red network hacked. Qin Feng's black-robed hunter coughed up blood, boy, it's time to sacrifice. If he wants to rise, he must first suppress the limit and press the bottom. Li Xiulan's silver palm ignites the prophetic billions and changes to lock the weak core. His inner OS, the rotten blood army suppresses despair. The speaker controls the reversal of ambition. I have all my growth skills. Mu Xue's stabilizer pulses with golden and red flashes, covering the abyss, the red network twists and howls, burns the black smoke and rots, Lin Yuyan's golden red veins thunder and tie the veins with 10% fracture and sand avalanche, and the Great Wall of Egypt reversely controls the ship. The speaker's golden eyes bulged and roared, impossible. The boy has grown up. Qin Feng's gray eyes and silver light finally exploded and sacrificed, and the black robe was gray and bloodthirsty. The smell of rust disappeared, and the low voice echoed, boy, seal the secret, melt my silver to foresee the origin of slaughter. The silver light penetrated Li Xiu's palm, and the blue-silver nuclear fusion surged for 1 year. He teleported through the core and pierced the speaker's heart. The blue robe evaporated, and the rotten blood sprayed the hot deck. The speaker's silver crown shattered, his golden eyes widened in panic, the origin of the abyss broke and thundered, and the paradox index of time manipulation and reversal broke through 500%. The buzzing ionization was fresh and fragrant, and the rotten smell was dispersed, boy, the ultimate paradox collapsed. The legions are in ashes, and the new line is permanent. The afterimage of the laser ship is thousands of twisted and self-destructive, black smoke is flowing, and the dome of the undersea palace is filled with healing fusion golden light. Mu Xue's eyes burst into tears, her fingers were stiff and flying, the stabilizer is overloaded and self-healing. The leader system is completely destroyed, God reckless. Teacher Qin Feng's sacrifice is so exciting. Her legs were weak and she was wrapped in black silk around her waist. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were adoring with tears, her chest was wet and soft, and her rose lips were deeply kissed and trembling with sweetness. The hero reverses the oracle. The global runes are confirmed, the origin seal is locked. Qin Feng's strict master will live forever, and the arrogant welfare will be exclusive at night. The global projection turned from blood red to green waves. Snow, the ant in Beijing laughed wildly and pushed the gold bricks and the incense flew away, Qin Feng sacrificed, Li Xiu slaughtered the gods. Legions are ashes, the new line of peace and prosperity is eternal. New York Wall Street men in suits knelt down and burst into tears, the empire's trillions exploded 100,000 times, nuclear fusion plus runes global revolution, the legend of God. The spasm of the blue silver in Li Xiu's palm exhausted most of his strength, and merged with all the portals to seal the management bureau forever. The gelatinous world of the bracelet knob buzzed and was electric and steady, and the OS in his heart, Qin Feng's mentor's blood debt was repaid, and the bottom of the force was expended to bounce up. The world was reborn. I am a legend. The water from the rotten blood pool in the abyss was revived by the rose mint current mixed with the fragrance, and the projection of Fu Han's residual soul flashed onto his knees, his bloodied face twisted, not in despair but in tears of atonement. God of time, intelligence helps to win, the traitor will fly into ashes and repent forever, the new line will bring peace to my soul. The residual soul of Fu Han is scattered in the smoke and the aftermath of the intelligence will remain in his mind forever. Li Xiu laughed loudly and the small test of the seal was wiped out. The team teleported back to the Empire Palace in New York. The golden bottles of wine in the swimming pool banquet hall overflowed with the fruity aroma and the fusion energy drink shimmered red. Fans of the global live broadcast screamed and paid tribute, legendary of Li Xiu. Qin Feng sacrifices to the war of gods, and the grand wedding live broadcast is sweet. 3 months after the aftermath dissipated, the top terrace of the Sky Castle Palace reflected the golden sea, and the global heritage portals were forever sealed with buzzing electric heat. History reshaped the peaceful and prosperous times. The Middle East Oasis Alliance bloomed in the Sea of Flowers, the fusion of World War II replaced the nuclear-free dream of atomic bombs, the end of World War II brought fusion clean energy to the world, and the Great Wall of Zama shines to the world. Egypt, Maya, Rome, New York, all shine. The stock market exploded in popularity and the trillion-dollar empire was 100,000 times more popular. The Wall Street ant pushed the gold bricks and the ashes flew away and laughed wildly. God is legendary every day. Nuclear fusion LED steam revolution, everyone worships forever. A girl from Shibuya, Tokyo, punched her pink fists and beat her breasts and screamed, Li Xiu's wedding, a new era of sweet torture for 3 people. The palace waiter kowtowed and served a plate of hot steam, and the boss's face was red with a projector and he pushed a check worth 100 billion. The projection flashed, the empire is upgraded, and the Grand Palace Carnival sponsors forever. At the climax of the wedding, the scent of rose mint on the terrace filled her nose with the fusion golden light. Lin Yuyan's white gauze peaks trembled and she hummed and pushed Mu Xue, current girl, don't grab the hero's breasts with your fingers. Egyptian runes are permanent, new line oasis is sweet. Sundra exclusive wedding kiss. She kissed Li Xiu deeply with her rose lips, wet, hot and sweet, and her almond-shaped eyes bit her earlobe seductively, pressing the peaks tightly until they softened. Mu Xue's purple hair was flying, her white gauze and black silk legs were tucked around her waist, her charming eyes were wide open with electric light, her fingers were sliding down her abdomen, and electric currents were tingling on her legs. She smiled softly, Sundra sister, the 3 reckless gods will always be with you. The eternal version of the stabilizer prevents paradox, and the intelligence Fu Han's atonement is fully activated. A new era of blissful welfare. She licked her ears and the hot breath of the electric current hit the door, which was so refreshing. Li Xiulan lightly spins her silver palm to embrace the 2 women's inner OS, the sense of accomplishment is overwhelming. Summary of the meaning of adventure, from a loser college student to a time legend, rewriting history and rebounding from the bottom, the team's love for Qin Feng will last forever, and the world will be reborn without butterfly pain. Ambition is satisfied, and the possibilities are infinite with ease. The global projection headlines are frenzied, and passers-by scream and worship, Li Xiu's family, the wedding of God. The prosperous new era, the portal seal is daily sweet, and the legend continues without suspense. The palace night light fusion golden glow reflected the team's laughter, the water splashed mint roses, the current was chaotic and sweet, and the global admiration flooded the screen, Li Xiu's family, the warmth of God. Fu Han surrendered, the new line is prosperous and eternal. Li Xiu's inner OS, a sense of accomplishment, the aftermath gained fame, status, treasures and information, the world has changed because of me, the oasis in the Middle East prospered, the fusion revolution of World War II, the peace of Zama is universal. But the boss hook, the decisive battle will stop. After the trivial matters are taken care of, ambitions are burning. At night, the stars reflected the sea, the water in the palace swimming pool splashed with mint roses, and the current was chaotic and sweet. Everyone was celebrating and the fruity wine was steaming. The live broadcast flooded the screen, the family of the god of time, invincible sweetness. History is reshaped, adventure is complete, new possibilities are easily opened. Li Xiu laughed and whispered in his heart, perfect ending, exciting release, but the universe is infinite, the next door may be.